Hello and welcome, Reds, to Anfield Road TV. Yet again, the usual crowd, me and Kev, will be taking you through all the latest and breaking Liverpool news in the evening as of recording the 28th of August. Kev, hope you're well, mate. Chat, hope you all ears are absolutely sound as. Don't be speaking about Salah, the potential fee of 150 million. What we could do with that money if a bid did come in for the Egyptian monster that he is. Another centre-half that we've got on our books, who's a previous Ballon d'Or winner. We'll get to that one. Joe Gomez this evening being linked yet again. Another Liverpool is linked with a Saudi Arabia move anyway. So speak about Joe Gomez potentially being shortlisted by Ittihad as well. Obviously, the team that Fabinho did sign for. We'll speak about, obviously, I think Kev, a big talking point that he wanted to bring to the show tonight was Liverpool's options and those attacking forward lines. Anyway, Kev, if you want a little summary, little glimpse to what's to come, mate, what would it be in terms of what you wanted to speak about at the end of this show, mate?
No, just pretty much like the future, what the future holds for Darwin Núñez and how we can Klopp making comments really on what system they're trying to find for Núñez to play. So for me, 100%. Like we'll get into it a bit, like it's going to be an in-depth kind of conversation when it comes to Núñez and formations and stuff like that. But other than that, it'll be fantastic. But there's a lot of things coming up in the show, lads. We have a lot of Jack, just a Jack.
It's a sniper. It's a sniper. Oh, just focusing the camera, everyone. Well, how are we, Kev?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
I've started with this one. These two onto our right, anyway. I love them both. I love Darwin. We all love Allison anyway. But have you recovered, mate?
Nah. I'm still on cloud 9. so to speak, with our number 9. No, it's fantastic win, lads. You know, it just shows that the heart is still here on this team. You know, it never left. I just think it was being weighed down by a few, not bad eggs, because everybody was a great member of the squad, you know, but it was weighed down by just a few people that were just lacking in the ability anymore, or the ability to be able to do it week in, week out the entire season. You know, your Oxes, your Ketas, you know, as we know in the end, Fabinho, Henderson, they found it leggy. You know, Milner will always give his graft. You know, Milner could still be going around that pitch with a walking stick.
Give it to him when he's 50 as well, lads.
But he's the difference with him is that we knew that Milner hadn't got the legs anymore, but we knew he would give everything on the pitch. The rest of the lads still had youth on him and couldn't do half the stuff that he could do still on the pitch, even though he couldn't do enough. You know, it's just the way it kind of went. And now, you know, it's been replaced by a wonderful footballer in Szoboszlai and a workhorse in McAllister. And that's what you need in the middle of there. Endo came in, and you know, I found a few naive comments actually yesterday from a few big known Twitter heads about Endo and all of this reactionary and preempting I told you so bullshit that's been going around lately.
He's an ex-fall guy for everyone's target, mate.
That's all they want.
They're crying out for the next Ginny, the next Jones, the next... Who else do you want to pick on, really? Everyone's entitled. I think we all are, Kev, me, you, and even bloody hell, go back and watch the video yesterday.
Actually, I'll disagree with that, Jack. I don't think everybody's entitled to their opinion, especially if they keep getting their opinion wrong and their opinion sucks ass. And if it is, then for me, they're not entitled to any type of opinion. They're just entitled to shut up until they learn about football, and then when they learn about football, they can come and talk. Simple as.
Yeah, 100%.
It's that easy, like, you know. I can just I don't beat about the bush. I call a spade, you know. So it's that simple. There's a few people out there who's just giving out about Endo straight away. Always the naysayers, always at it.
For Liverpool, man, like, come on. Like,
he was great up until the point where Van Dijk got sent off, and then he had all the work to do, man. And at that stage, Klopp noticed that, and just to kind of back up Endo on this thing, Klopp noticed that Szoboszlai and McAllister was still staying up a bit, even though we were down to 10 men, and he wanted to change that, and he knew that the shape wasn't going to change for the lads to drop back unless he took Endo out of the equation. And when he took Endo out of the equation and the lads dropped back, we were a different animal in a 4-4-2. You don't need a CDM in a 4-4-2. You need two sitting centre mids that can create going forward, especially if you're on a 10-men, 4-4-1, because we don't have the 10 men. But but in that scenario, you don't need a CDM. You need two sitting box-to-box type midfielders that can, even if they're not box-to-box, they have to act like a box-to-box midfielder. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, even when hopefully Liverpool go on for the next 3-4 months and be top of the league and start winning games, there'll always be something that people do like to moan about anyway. I just say that anyway. But big up chat as well. Big up to every single one of you. We need to ask. Sorry, you Brad. Obviously, it's just me and Kev show tonight. In terms of people jumping into the shows, that obviously will be mainly on the post matches, really, mate. And in any big breaking news, as this evening we'll be speaking about the what Fabrizio's tweeted, and at this moment in time, until an official bid does get lodged for a potential bid for Joe Gomez, or that's what it is at the moment, a potential bid for Mohamed Salah in the region of 150 million. If that bid got accepted, then Christ, we would open the phone lines to everyone. We'd probably do like a 3, 4, 5 hour live stream, because it would be probably the biggest transfer news in Liverpool's history. Well, not in history, but in the last 5-10 year period, because we know how important Salah is, and we'll discuss that tonight, your Fred. But a massive thank you for you jumping on yesterday, mate. Really enjoyed it. I hope you did too. How are we, Brian? How are you, Brian? You big legend. Oh, yeah. No, don't be saying that.
I didn't finish it.
Going forward as well, yes. Because YouTube is very much, for anyone, content creators out there.
Walk.
It doesn't matter about that.
The walk.
We've got to be.
And
we've got to dampen down on the language. So down to 10 men twice and 6 points won, 4 from Newcastle and Chelsea away. The mentality is spot on. Kev's absolutely fuming, as you can see there.
No, I'm not. I just what's popping into my head is just drink arse girls. No, it's okay. That's allowed.
Yeah.
No, it's okay.
Do you think we can sign anyone? Big up there, ads. I hope so, mate. Obviously, me, Kevin, we'll do plenty of shows this week, and as we'll discuss tonight, mate. Especially if a ridiculous fee they come in for Gomez, then I think we'd hopefully go shopping for a very quality centre half. Because if not to jump the gun, but as we speak about Gomez in a little second, mate, if like say a 80-100 million pound bid come in for Gomez, do we think he's valued at that? No. But when you've got silly football clubs with an endless pit of money going and buying players in excess of 90 to 100 million pounds when they're well past their peak, then you've got to
you send them out on a platter with four oiled men underneath them to the tune of "Meet me at the Bully Pakiakela," and then just send them off out like that, man, into the sunset. See you later, Joe. Good luck, mate. Thanks for the memories.
Now, but we've got a Ballon d'Or winner.
We have
Ballon d'Or winner coming up this in a little second, which we've got to do. Big up there, Panov. And Wiggs, by the looks of it, he's absolutely had a cracking weekend. Look at where is he? Where's Wiggs' comments? There we go. Hungover all day. Wiggs is here. Big up chat. What a win, or what a match day that was, in the words of Jamie Carragher. Anyway, Wiggs, did you go to the away game, mate? I'm gonna tell you what. The Newcastle away game is absolutely amazing. All my mates go to that one as well. And obviously Newcastle, as we know, as a city, it's fantastic. Absolutely amazing. People in Newcastle as well. Regardless of, even better with the results. But I know the travelling cop, if they stayed over in Newcastle, probably made it a 5 whole 7-day weekend anyway, after that game anyway. But in terms of Evening Jack, regarding Joe Gomez, surely we won't sell. We are low on homegrown players, as it is probably only Twitter noise. Mac, we'll speak about that, mate. And it potentially is, as I said, mate, being on YouTube 6-7 years or whatnot, mate, there's so much news that does get generated. And obviously, I'm on Liverpool Sports News channel. We speak about it. Just obviously, as I always say, Kev, and you're very much the same, mate. Same rational thinking of me. Until it's officially announced on Liverpool's website if we signed a player or we sold a player, when the official announcement does come in, then they're the most trusted club sources anyway. To say Mo is 31. He is, Nigel. He's a very good 31. I'll tell you, if I'm, well, I've never done have that physical body at the age of 31. I'm only 3-4 years off Mo, but yeah, Mo's on 350 grand a week. It's a bit more easier, and he's probably got a better dietitian than me. So 100% better than you, Kev.
Yeah, he's a bit better than me now. Yeah. Go back about 15 years ago. No, I would have destroyed him.
Oh, good. But chat on those two, love it. I'm still buzzing. I know Kev is. I know every single one of you. I've been watching, consuming everyone's content as well in terms of match day vlogs and everyone that went to game. It's been amazing, absolutely amazing. And shout out to this whoever edited this picture. Kev, give him a round of applause. Whoever edited this.
A bullabus.
Yeah. So, what a win, as Wiggs did say there, chat. But it wasn't only 2 goals that Darwin Núñez carried all the way home to Merseyside. It was that absolute fraud of an assistant. I don't even know not that I don't really care what his name is, but he's an absolute fraud. So, he got sacked in his other previous managerial jobs. He got sacked, was it 6 months at Bournemouth? So if he was an half-decent manager, he'd be not sat on the sidelines helping Eddie Howe anyway. So, yeah, Kev, what did you think of his antics on the touchline? I think we all love antics. It's part of football, and we love it. It adds to the stokes to the atmosphere and everything, really. But when it backfires, as it did yesterday, he's made to look a bit silly.
It's the sign of not being able to hide the fact that you have money in a team, but you're still trying to stay humble as a team because you're not quite there yet. That's the ego. So they'll do that to sign, they look professional the whole lot, but the minute something gets intense, they're like this, like as if they say shush, shush, shush. That's an egotistical thing. It's an internal egotistical thing, and it doesn't make sense to anybody else outside the internal nature of the club. But when you do it and you're 1-0 up or you're 1-0 up, and it doubles the factor. So look, it's karma at the end of the day. And for me, Jason Tyndall is something's his name. I wouldn't. Look, at the end of the day, I know the one that I put up the meme, and Klopp's one was Photoshop, but he did smile back at him. So so it was still a smile back even without the shush. So the smile alone would have done. We know what Klopp is thinking in his mind. He's doing the shush, So Klopp for sure, class.
Yeah, shout out to all the social media content creators, just people in general. I'll tell you what, people that aren't even just social media content creators, they just sit there on the phone and edit pictures for days and just whack them up on Twitter. It's a bit mad, in all honesty, because obviously the Shush and Klopp one was massively edited. But at first, I bought into it thinking it was real. But when you watch the video, he just looks at him and just smiles, as you said there, Kev. But tell you, it's this generation of youngsters coming through. Well, you can do many things with a mobile phone these days, anyway. But yeah, time's running out to sign someone. I hope there is talk with someone at this moment in time. 100%.
I think there is 100%. There is. Yeah.
100%.
3 days left, is it?
Yeah. Well, you can still do business. I know it's.
We haven't been in a transfer deadline day anything since Ox.
Yeah.
So I think, I know something was done with a loan deal with Arthur or something like that, but I think that was a couple of days before. I think, it'd be nice to Liverpool to give us something to watch on transfer deadline day this year. If there's actual links to somebody and it doesn't get done until that day, that'd be great. I'd love to be involved in the transfer deadline. I know we want to get our business done. But what difference is 3 days, lads? Just give Liverpool fans something to look forward to on Yellow Tie Day. So that'd be great.
Kev, if we're doing a show, you don't be wearing a yellow tie, lads.
I'll wear a yellow tie. I'll get a yellow tie for that. Yeah, I'll get a yellow dicky ball. I'm more of a dicky ball guy.
I was wondering what you were there to say then. YouTube, that wasn't the right word.
It wasn't. Sorry, Willy Warmer. Sorry, no, sorry.
Sorry, chap. we love it. We enjoy doing that.
I'm very smart, lads. I know the words that I can and can't say, which is great.
Right, let's try a bit more rational if I can, but he's we love it.
Rational thoughts, Jack. Stay on point.
Never. That's what I've been. Have you seen my videos 6 years ago, lads? It was half an hour. As far as I'm concerned, following questions are irrelevant. Far too late in the window. You're talking 2 days to replace Salah if we sold him tomorrow. Gomez is a great player. Wouldn't sell him. Pip. I don't know that if that is massive clickbait, and he's probably going to click me up in the bus. I was just reading out the comments.
Jack, Jordy's comment there a second while you're on the picture.
Oh yeah, I'm going. Where was it?
So the second last one.
The second last one. Can you remove? Big up there, George. Jesus, sorry that. Right, we'll go on to. Sorry. But we'll move on to that one. Sorry there, Jody. I completely forgot. That's when you get lost. I was too busy enjoying the Dicky Bow comment from Kev. Still, but where are we? I've lost myself now, chat. You're bloody smashing it as always. But before housekeeping, get a like on the video if you are enjoying it today. As you can tell already, we're 16 minutes in. We don't take ourselves too serious. Me and Kev enjoy it. We speak about transfers, speak about Liverpool, and we enjoy it. And most importantly, hope you all enjoy it at home as well. And obviously, there's a couple of Newcastle fans. You're welcome. I know we've got quite a lot of Geordie subscribers to the channel, good mates as well. So yeah, welcome. But yeah, time's running out. Oh, read that one. Gomez. So yeah, back to that one. We'll quickly touch on that, mates. Pip, I don't know if you're baiting or if you really do rate him, because this is harps back to what Kev was alluding to at the top of the show in relation to the rationale of thinking around the likes of Jones, the Ginnies at the time, Gomez as well. And what we can't forget, Kev, is the difficult period that Joe Gomez has had in the last 12 months. And it's not just Gomez, but certain players in this team. For me, and it's probably far too long to keep on, but what the majority of us Liverpool fans, we hope and we have a desire that these players do come good. And people might go, and of course, the age, Kev. Gomez is 25, 26 years old. But in centre-back terms, that is still extremely young. And there's still time for him to develop, really, mate. But Kev, what do you think about this overall potential breaking news this season?
You know, with the Joe Gomez thing, I'm of the mindset these days that I don't do much comparisons. I love Liverpool Football Club. I always back every player that's in the team when they're there or not. But I'm kind of looking around and I see the cities and I see the other teams that are around the place, and anybody who's vying for a place to come on is also a starter within the team, and you could change around certain parts of City, and I know they've bought in a lot of players, whether they haven't paid for them up front in a big way. They've done it under the table in other ways, but they've paid big fees for these players, even though like the touted fees will probably be about 50 or 60 million. They're probably in the ilk of about 80 or 90 million, but just done in different ways. So for me, they're able to do that, and I'd love to be able to do that as well. But look at City last season, if they took off what's his name? Portuguese winger. We don't like him. Fellow who wouldn't clap for us when we did the Bernardo. So they could take off Bernardo and they could put on Mahrez. Any one of them could have started. It's the same there. Ake can start. You take off Laporte, Ake can start.
When you had Cancelo, he was actually playing well as well. You had him left back, and then he brought in Ake last season. It's the ability to do that. You have to look at the Liverpool team and just say, and this is not me, because you know me with transfers and stuff like that. I think Ben Doak will come good in the future. I think he's a fantastic, as long as we don't get him injured. He's a Michael Owen type player in the way he runs and the way he moves and the way he can get down with the ball. But he just needs that end product. He can finish, but it's just a pass that he's lacking at the end, which that will develop with age, no problem. You can develop that in the next 3 months easily. And
But we've got these kind of ilk of players, and that's great, and that's ones for the future. But then you go to the ones that are in the middle tier behind that, and they're not so great. Joe's been there a long time now, and he's had a couple. He's never had injuries, or he's had, as I say, niggling injuries, repetitive injuries, right like that. But he did have a couple of broken bones, which hampered him for nearly 2 years. Once done by Ben Mead, the other one was done by, I think it was Raheem Sterling in training. I've mentioned that before, and
it's been a very difficult period for them, mate. Because you look at the age profile of them, mate, in terms of like the centre backs. You look at Maguire. Obviously, I know massively overinflated price tag as well at the time, but it's when we've looked in recent weeks, and when me and you spoke off camera, mate, as well. It's and you just alluded to like the City options that they've got, the versatility, the options off the bench as well. The lack of options currently at Liverpool. This is where I've seen this story come through tonight, and it was absolutely madness as well, though, Jack. Because if this was to come true in the next couple of days, and it did rear its head in relation to very much becoming a more poignant story, really. Liverpool would leave themselves, Kevin, such a already tricky situation than we already currently do find ourselves in. Anyway,
I can't see us going into leaving somebody go without somebody ready to come in. That would just be suicide, to be honest with you. Joe Gomez, if somebody comes in and bites the hand off you from in the morning, take the money, go and buy 2 players. Because if they're coming in, they're paying for his age. He's coming up to his peak of his career. He's still got contract left. How long has he got left? Maybe 2-3 years left or something like that. So at this point, you're buying him out for the rest of his contract. You're not buying out just the talent or the potential or whatever. You're buying him out for the rest of his contract. You're buying him out for what he can get to, because we know he can be a good player. Still go back to the time of 2019, and before that, where he was probably, he was the best partner for Virgil van Dijk at the time. They had a phenomenal season, the two of them together. Joe was cleaning up big time. That Virgil didn't even have to run that much, So it just goes to show you, like, even though you have Kanate in there, who can be a bit rash at times and a bit clumsy in his own way, but he's there just to clear the ball and do a good job, But Joe is very accomplished on the ball when he gets it. He just needs to have his head in the game all the time to do so. So the problem is when he's not playing as often, he comes on and he gets lapses in judgment and things like that. And it shows. But he came on yesterday and he was phenomenal next to Matip. Matip was probably feeling a bit of a niggle, or they seen that he was getting overrun a small bit on that side. And, then they brought on Kwanzaa, who just did a good job of keeping Wilson quiet. So look, the future's there. Kwanzaa looks like a good future player. And if he keeps showing that kind of emphasis, Klopp will stop believing in him, and then you can see why that there's chances for Joe to leave and make Liverpool some money in the process. He's been there a long time now, man. He's been there since like 2012, something like that. Is that how long he's there? So I remember him coming in around the same time as Nathaniel Klein.
No, I think he's currently Liverpool's longest serving player. Right there, Chas.
Yeah, I remember him doing the same thing on the roof in Liverpool, where they were taking the jerseys and stuff like that. Same as
with Rodgers as well. Obviously we signed Charlton for, I think it was 1.5 or 2.
Did he come in with Kenny, or did he come in with Rodgers?
I think it was Rodgers. I think it was one of Rodgers' very first signings.
So that would have been 2012, 2013 season. So
yeah, and to add to that, Kev, as well, great comments from Wiggs here. And chat, let us know your thoughts on Gomez at the minute. I know, and I've criticised, a lot of people criticised, but mainly me in the last couple of years, because the thing that does my head in with Gomez is I want this lad to succeed at the football club, but I don't know how many more chances he wants as a professional footballer at Liverpool. Like, you'd think, and we said this before, Kev, before we come on air, you look at that City game last year, outstanding, absolutely outstanding. And then the following week, was it the Forest game we got beat or something or whatnot? That did figure, or even the game when he was twerking at the back post against Brighton, when Mintoma sat him on his ass. It's difficult. And fair enough if, as you just alluded to there, Kev, if it was like Canal saying he's still a young lad and that, but you'd think a lad with that experience at high level, even when we won the league as well, though, Kev, the quality's there. It's just still he's fundamentally struggling with that consistent level. Where it's
He's,
not just
he's
Gomez, it's
yeah.
it's players that age as well at this current moment in time around Europe that you look at them and you go, when is the penny eventually going to drop for you? Certain players it does, and certain players you're looking to the age of 30 and you
He's
go,
still stuck in the young player mindset of a lot of people. And we're still seeing him as a young up and coming player, but he's not. He's 25. He's at the point where he should be dominating now in the Premier League. I mean, you just look at somebody who's in a similar style of player as I would rate to him, and that would be Colwell at Chelsea. And you know, that's where he should be at that level now, ready to go. He was in 2019. The Ben Mee injury kind of caught him coming back in the English. You know, he should have just concentrated on football. Really with the club and not try to get back into the England setup as much, but he was playing phenomenally at the time to be able to do so. So twice he bounced back from an injury, but then it just, you know, the remains scuppered him a bit. He started getting niggling injuries after the second broken leg, and it's never really healed. And sometimes that can happen with a big injury, where all these other little ones will happen, and it'll just, you know, scupper you for even a couple of seasons. So don't get me wrong, there's still a chance for Joe Gomez to come along and do good. There's even a chance for him to come in next to Konate and replace Van Dijk eventually at, you know, in 2 or 3 years' time, if Van Dijk is in his 30s or legs are gone. If, you know, with an injury that Van Dijk has had, you know, that could have dropped off his career by 3 or 4 years easily. So you think from that injury point to the recovery point, and after that, you might get, from the point of injury or the point of return, you might get 4 good years out of Van Dijk, or 70% of what Van Dijk was, or you could get, you know, 3 good years of him at 80%. So you don't know what's there, but, you know, nobody knows the team in the system how it works better than Joe. So when he comes in, he already knows what he needs to do. It's just sometimes he just gets a lapse of judgment or a mindset or something, and it lets him down.
Yeah, well, spot on, mate. Chat, keep on any comments in, everyone. And drop a like. We're currently on 17 likes. Run them up, chat. 30 people of you in. Get that at least up to 30 likes, everyone. Massively helps out the algorithm as well. But as Wig says here, Gomez has a great game yesterday, but they are few and far between. After those injuries, 2 Achilles, broken bone breaks, etc., he has fell off an absolute cliff. If we got a good offer, we should cash in all day. And I think a lot of Kev would agree. I'd agree as well, mate. And I think a large majority would. Wigs.
It's time to be ruthless, Jack.
Yeah,
this is the thing. We have to be ruthless with we've done it now. We've gotten rid of the sick notes, as in Arthur on loan. We've gotten rid of Ox. We've gotten rid of Naby Keita. You know, your Lalanas are gone out the door. Your Sturges are gone out the door when they're done. Milner, if it was there, he was a workhorse, tired legs. You have to replace him. This is where you get in the likes of a McAllister, who could potentially get to that kind of Milner-esque workhorse level. You know, so and very young. You know, we've replaced him with a strider in Szoboszlai who doesn't even look like he's breaking a sweat when he's playing. You know, and Endo will come good for the rest of the season. Once he gets used to that system, it's his first game yesterday, and he did well up until Verge was sent off, and that's the difference. People are preemptively waiting to say, I told you so, about what? You know, it just makes no sense. Give the dude a chance. He needs to play in the team for a few weeks. And there's no point in putting the pressure on him when he doesn't deserve the pressure yet. He's taking it in his stride and he's taking it on board. There's no point in putting the pressure on the player because of the failings of an owner. You know, it's not their fault. They're there to do a job. Back them. Stop talking about it online. Stop posting about Endo's this, Endo's that. Because he did very, very well intercepting, clearing the ball, and cleaning up in front of Verge and them. He's meant to be a ghost in the game. He's not meant to dominate and control in midfield. Your Thiagos do that. Your McAllisters do that. Your Szoboszlais can do that. Endo's a clean-up merchant. He's a sweeping midfielder. He's meant to come around, clean up behind everybody, and clean up in front of the lads, and even drop him. He even drops him behind him like a sweeper defender when the need is there. He's a clear artist, you know, and that's what we didn't have enough of last season, was the ability for somebody to sit between the lads in the middle of the park and stop these passes from going through. Because how many times did we get opened up last season by just one pass from one defender straight through our midfield, straight through our defence, and into somebody running in on goal? But an amount of times, he's already after cleaning up about 6 of those this season already that I've been watching. Every time I see it, I go like that, and you can see it in my face. I can see it. And I'm like, yeah, we just need just that simplicity. So give Endo time. He'll do the job he's asked to do. Will he be the greatest that you've seen in the role yet? I don't think so. He's 30 years of age. He's not going to be at his peak now, but he'll do the job until we get somebody in.
Yeah, every team needs utility players. I don't think for even the greatest legendary teams in football, there's always been people that would sacrifice their game for the betterment of the team. Fundamentally, they weren't obviously Ballon d'Or nomination world class strikers, but they were always players that would do a job, whether that be for 5 games in a season or whether that be 20, 25 games in a season. It's extremely rare. But I know it's in the modern day football now. City can field literally two league-winning teams, given the resources, similar with Real Madrid as well. Certain teams in Europe, but that's FIFA career mode. That's Football Manager. That's pure Football Manager as well. That is not normal.
Don't get me wrong about Endo. He did have his rabbit in the headlight moments, a couple of 1 or 2, but it's his first game for Liverpool. You know, but he was still getting in the right positions. He was still not allowing the without doing anything or getting the ball. He was still in the positions to stop those passes from getting through. You know, not that he had to intercept them or even beyond the ball to intercept them. He was just in that position, which we didn't have a lot of in the last season or so. So I get it. I get he'll get to a level where he's comfortable within the side, and we're comfortable with him being there. But he's a stopgap. That's it. So and we know that. Everybody knows that. So let's just get past mentioning him until he does something good, because he's just there to fill the gaps until we do get somebody in, because nobody's available right now apparently. So we're going after Andre, and he's not available till January because they need him for a competition. So
that transfer and its whole thing, I think it's a lot of Brazilian journos and a lot of people just getting the clicks in from the South American side anyway, and currently, because at the end of the day, it's a weird thing. Like the fact that his club's not willing, I get, because they're in the Copa de Libertadores or whatever competition it is in South America. But in the day, if you're a player, you should be moving heaven and earth. If a club of the size and magnitude of Liverpool's coming in for you, you tell your agent, get me out of this football club, get me to Liverpool straight away, get me on that next flight from.
I think that's what he's doing. I think the club is just playing hardball, saying, you know, we have you on contract and we're not going to listen to anything because we care about what's coming up for the club. But, you know, you don't like seeing it happen in Liverpool where a player downs his tools and doesn't do that. You wouldn't want to see it at Liverpool, and I wouldn't want to see a player do that to get to Liverpool, because that's not the type of player that I want at Liverpool anyway. If he was to down his tools at another club to come to us, it's not the attitude I'd want to see, but you would do it respectfully. You know, you'd still get on with the game and you'd say, look, whatever, just go play the game. They could be knocked out, and if they're knocked out, you can still get them. But yeah, I don't know. And look, I'm hoping that Endo comes good, but I'm just hoping that we're still in the market for somebody else, even in this window, or even if we have to wait until January. And, you know, I'm just not saying that Endo is the be all and end all, but he's what we have at 30 years of age until, you know, Whitechet is just fully fit to help him out, or, you know, or there's nothing we can do. That the market is tight for CDMs. There's none out there. You know, they all, 2 of them went to Chelsea that we were after, that we tried to get in for, and
even Decore, mate. Like as I said, not a massive watcher of Palace, so apologies if you massively disagree with what I'm about to say, but
70 million. He's not.
And like,
he's a 40 million pound player.
Yeah,
because he plays in England.
Yeah, we shouldn't be jumping the gun and going, no, 80, 90 million. We're that desperate, Kevin Chat. We all know at this moment in time. I think literally, if we brought in someone else that wasn't on the level of Endo, it was a couple of levels above, we'd be all going, oh, yes, bloody get him in straight away. But what we've been crying out for Liverpool in the last couple of years is signing players, but signing them at the right price and being clever about it. And everyone will go, oh, we're not in the position to do that. We need to get them in now. Of course we are. But this market is so massively volatile. Like, everyone in world football knows. Hence, before we went on an holiday last week, everyone knew that we had 111 million on Caicedo, supposedly, as we spoke about. Is it a PR move? Probably was. But it's about getting value. Value is the key thing, and as probably will be a big word that, well, not a big word, but the word that we use the most. And people, I can already hear people going, sod value, we need them in now, straight away, and all that. But Kev, yesterday's shown, again, with 10 men, Liverpool, against one of the best sides in Europe, Newcastle are, we can do it. If our back five actually gets a kick up the backside and starts defending properly, I think Liverpool won't find it difficult to start winning games of football.
Yeah.
Or is that
Yeah,
me
look.
being too positive or too forward thinking?
No, it's been positive. I'm the most positive person you see out there.
Disagree with you want as well,
I think. Look, we're going to do well with the lads. The midfielders that are coming in have already made a difference. You know, it shows. You know, the transitional play, the passing. I really want to not survive games. I find that like Jota is one of our best goal scorers. Don't get me wrong, he is, and I think his link-up play yesterday when he came on was brilliant with the people that were there. But I think when he starts a game, it's non-existent because he always seems to be like, oh yeah, I'll just get through this part of the game until my time to shine is near the end of the game or something. You don't. I think it's only been a couple of times that Jota scored early in a game, maybe against Arsenal, United, something like that. The majority of the time he scores late or when he comes on, and So, I think Jota is our new. I say he's a massive upgrade on Divock Origi, right? Massive, but he's also.
We'll speak about that later anyway.
Oh, we're speaking about that. Okay, well, I'll leave it after.
I'll let you to speak about that in a little
second. So, Jack Dicky boys.
Yeah. Don't start me again, lad. Even the lads, the Nat Phillips, big up there, and hope you're well, matey. I know you would have enjoyed that Newcastle game as well, 100%, mate. Even lads, that Nat Phillips turns 200 million from a Saudi club. And speaking of ants, and I just thought with a little if any Saudi fans or anyone from Ittihad or any of these Saudi clubs is watching, this is our best centre half at the football club currently. A previous Ballon d'Or winner. He rivaled even the likes of Maldini, the Cannavaros, Nestas, the Beressis, the legendary Italians. When he went to AC Milan prior to obviously moving to Liverpool a couple of years back anyway as a youngster. He's what a career. So any Saudi, anyone at the hierarchy wants to sign a centre half, we've got the better improved. I'm telling you, Nat Maldini is much better, Kev, than
not for the lovely value of 180 million euro. Not for the lovely value of 120 million euro. Not for the average value of 100 million euro. You can have this world-class ex-Ballon d'Or winner for 79,000,099. All right, there you go. Take him.
We're taking off of there.
Yes, very much.
Taking off of there.
It's like one of these. It's like one of these. You're selling a brick, though. You're selling a brick thing, aren't you? Yeah, it's that kind of thing.
No, but look, it's the biggest brick in world football. He'll head a brick away.
He will.
In the
he's so underrated as Nat, and he just doesn't. He doesn't suit Klopp's system, but he'll get the head, as you can see. He'll literally get the head in for you. He'll work hard for you.
Who needs Teddy Butcher when you got this fella?
Nat Phillips, like he starts for Brighton, he starts for Crystal Palace, he starts for Wolves. He's captain of Everton if he goes there.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. This guy starts for any of these other clubs in the league. It's such a shame. He hasn't done it at Liverpool yet. Yeah. But look, if he's there, man, and you start giving him games, the only problem is his pace, and Klopp likes a pacey centre back. He doesn't. He likes a stridey centre back. But Nat tries to finish off the movement or anything before. Yeah, keep flashing it. Yeah, Phillips, Ballon d'Or, 200 million. All right, so
if you sign Nat Maldini, you win the Saudi League. End of story. Yeah, there we go. So, Nat, if you want to get us as your assistant media PR, especially if you go into negotiations with any Saudi teams, give us a call, because we've got we've got probably a 10-hour slideshow that we've pre-planned, but we couldn't show it tonight because it'd be a bit too long.
Jack Niles comment.
Oh yeah, hang on. There's quite a lot of comments, so I've quickly got to rattle through all these. Still buzzing. Big up there, science teacher as well. Chat, I will get to that as well, but I'm a bit slow on the comments tonight. Nobody wants. Can we go to Klopp's going to admin on touchline? Can we see the sod the referees to all rubbish?
Sick of them.
Oh,
They're ruining the game.
get them out of my club. The Saudi window closes 3 weeks after ours. Squad could be absolutely utter. Not just ours, but a lot of clubs in Europe as well. Pick up their answers as well. Sorry, there, mate. Quickly get to a boys' comment. We need players in midfield and centre backs. Don't think we get one as well. Pick up there, mate. Good to see a couple of new faces in the comments. Hit that subscribe button down below. Gomez still a baller when the high line is pushed back. Yeah, I'll tell you what, he would be tremendous in a Burnley system. I know companies changed the philosophy, but old Burnley,
Stokes. Burnley's just Stokes. I think, he gives space to attackers to receive the ball, and then he just clobbers them. Whereas Liverpool player where Verge and Gomez or Matip kind of almost track back with the striker. So yeah, they play a bit higher than that. He's not used to that. Although he will get his head in and clear it quite a bit. But
sure, just add him on the touchline. Just add a little word to Jason Sindo. That's why he was wearing that bandage. I'd have Nat over Gomez. Sorry, I like Joe as a person, but far too many mistakes. Nat does this job every match. Thing is, with Nat, as Kev's already alluded to tonight, and used as well, Chas, he knows his limitations, Nat Phillips. Yeah. He doesn't go 30 yards up the pitch. Well, he might have one or twice in his career, but he knows what he needs to do. And yeah, I'm a bit surprised that he hasn't been given more of an opportunity. I know people question his quality, but I think structurally and his understanding of the game is much better than Joe Gomez for me. I don't know. But time will tell. We need players that are 6 to 7s every week, and we can't keep players that do 4 or 5s with the odd 9 or 10 ratings there and there, like Dejan Lovren's when he was there. Ronaldo's influence as well. Yes, certainly there, Fres. Wigs, we usually bring in 5 and 6s and make them 8 and 9s as well.
Very true as well.
Big up there, lads. Spidey, romantic. Take the money. He has to concentration of a goldfish. Who's that? Me, Niall? I know I do, mate. Bloody hell, I can't even remember what I done yesterday.
No, it's about Gomez. So I think so. Yeah.
As well, we need to add another midfielder. Big up there, Dean. Hope you're well, matey. Endo looked like a little boy playing against men yesterday. Early days, but I'm not convinced by him.
100%. He'll do a job, but it was his first game. We can't judge him on that. But he will do a job. And if it is too much for him, then we had to clap, and then we'll have to hold our hands up and say, well, the owners will have to hold their hand up and say they didn't back clap. Pay the bloody money.
Yeah, big up there, and we will be getting to that story as well, though, Ant. But whilst we get Kev to have a little gander with you in a little second, I'll quickly check. As I know there, Ant and you lads, let us know if something breaks whilst we're on air as well. We'll quickly chase that up and show us you all anyway, whilst we discuss it. I'll quickly put Gomez on the screen anyway whilst I'm talking for him. We love Nat. We love our Nat. Actually, no, we'll leave that on anyway. Nice. There we go. Al Hetty preparing 129 million offer for Mohamed Salah. Alarm potentially there.
Not enough.
Not enough. If Gomez
next season, it's enough.
If Gomez wants to leave, when he should let him go, but we need to bring in at least 2 defenders if he leaves. Our squad seems thinner than before due to all the outgoings as well. Big up there, Everest. I'd agree, mate. What was it? Whose comment was it before, Kev? I know I've got quite a lot to go through.
You'll get it there in a minute when it passes down. It'll be grand. Yeah.
I have to make sure I read it before it comes up. I wrote to match ratings with consistency mark. Agree with those players. And as I was saying, housekeeping. Smash a like on the video as well. Massively helps out. Very big up there, Panov. I'm just sorry, I've come along and allowed these lads. Oh yeah. Oh, apologies. I'm so glad the sideways have come along with these lads. Finally going in a few quid. They were starving the players as well. The players certain disagree. Endo looked like he was a boy. I think 100%. I understand where you're coming from there, Dean, but there was a time when a young Steven Gerrard come through and everyone was writing, Christ almighty, if Twitter was around then, Twitter wouldn't allow Gerrard or you wouldn't allow Carragher that room to improve and develop. Like, we live in an age where Curtis Jones, at the age of 22, still constantly getting slagged off. He can have a bad performance and we can critique that, but the constant bashing of Curtis Jones and these agendas against certain players.
It's all end game stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
The minute somebody does something wrong, get him out of my club. I want him gone. No, it's my club. I want him gone. It's my club. Ooh, ooh, ooh. It's like babies throwing things out of prams, isn't it? I want him gone out of my club because he did something wrong today. Shockingly, it's just these guys need to develop. Like they need to grow as footballers. And you're not, you're worried that homegrown talent isn't growing fast enough within the country because they're getting slated so much on Twitter, and they have to become like almost the perfect player. But there's nobody's going to become the perfect player out there. The best thing that most of these footballers do is stay off social media and don't listen to the likes of that's on Twitter and all of that. It's the best thing. I'm glad that they have policies like that in clubs.
Yeah. Have I gone through that as well? I think Endo wants Salah's experience will be vital, especially with the team. Yeah. Big up there, Dan. Nice one for that, La. Do believe that Endo will come good, but he's most definitely our new Millie utility man. For me, he's not the solution to our six problem. I want a tall monster unit in that position. 100% agree with there, Wiggs.
As I said, stopgap. It is, but he will do the utility man job. So.
Yeah, big up there, Mark. Still time, Mark. And if it doesn't, then rubbish would hit the fan, to say that.
I wouldn't be too embarrassed, Mark. We got one of the best midfielders in Europe in this window, or two of them actually. We got a World Cup winner in McAllister, and we got Sapasli. And it's a shock that the fact that Endo and Fabinho were leaving at the same time when Liverpool had the Klopp literally said they had no inclination that they were going to leave, so they left them with no. They knew they'd have to replace them, and there was feelers put out there and stuff like that. But they knew that some of these players that they were going to get to replace these guys were available in a year's time or a year and a half time or something like that. Maybe even starting in January. But none of them were available now, which is why we're trying to hijack Caicedo, which is why we're trying to do that. And I'm making excuses for the owners. I'm making excuses for the scout team who probably know too well. They probably know too well who they're looking at and who was going to come in the future. But just not at such short notice like that, We didn't want to be stuck in another Arthur situation, so I think they were going ahead to learn who to get and who not to get.
Especially, there's always a deal that does present itself, chat. We've all watched football, whatever age you are, even if you watch football in the 60s, 70s, or whatnot. Situations do arise, even in the last deals, because you've got clubs that need to thin down their squad in certain elements and certain abilities as well. That obviously you can question that, but we'll quickly rattle through all these. Lads, we're supposed to be rebuilding. We surely cannot accept that we've done so far. To not get anyone is negligence. Me, Kev, agree, Dean. Obviously, I'm pretty sure you watched the videos from last week, but if you haven't, go and check them out. And disappointing to say the least anyway, mate.
No, it's not acceptable yet, no.
Yeah, it's not acceptable, so miss 100% miss spot on. Nigel, at least don't. What's the deal? Disaster since we lost Edwards as well. We'll remember yesterday.
I kind of blame Julian Ward a bit for that, because he was supposed to take over the mantle, and Edwards gave him the tools that he needed to do it, but the job was just too big for him. And if anything, Edwards thought he was leaving it in capable hands. Liverpool thought they were leaving it in capable hands with the fella that was there to be the understudy, and he just didn't do the job. So I blame him more than Edwards leaving.
Yeah, 100%. We have to remember yesterday's game. First time in the season we played players in their position. Trent took the booking, and Van Dijk's red card changed things as well. But as we know, chat, yesterday for me, I'm speaking to Kev off all day today, and all of us, even when you've been reminiscent with your work colleagues or whatnot. It's hopefully, and that changing room, Kev, would have been absolutely bouncing. All of us were bouncing around the world, even the travelling cop travelling all the way to Newcastle as well. How big do you anticipate this result to be? I know we spoke about it yesterday, but as well, Chas, this squad, it's what they now do off the back of this now. As Chatwood alluded to tonight, and we all have spoke about, we've been winning games when we've got 10 men on the pitch. Now we just need to start winning games and controlling games better when we've got 11 as well.
It's really weird, Jack, because last season, the amount of times, and pretty much last season, the few times that we did play against teams that went out to 10 men, we couldn't beat them. Yeah, we go down to 10 men and we've turned it into some sort of an animal machine. I mean, 2 games in a row to have important players sent off. And I'm still iterating that it's wrong, by the way. I know other people have a different opinion about the Virgil van Dijk issue. To me, he's not the last man. To me, he's still side by side with him and he hasn't passed him. He hasn't received the ball. If it went on another step or two and he was around him, that would have been the last man for me. Virgil, red card, he's gone out the gap. He made a genuine attempt for the ball. He caught the player, yellow card, free kick, move on. He didn't. The player wasn't past him. Virgil van Dijk didn't lunge at him from behind or from behind the side. He came straight across him and went straight through with the ball and just clipped him at the same time. It's not a red card for me. And I think as it's been alluded to last even the other day with Mike Dean, a lot of the referees are leaving the cat out of the bag. And I think what was that Newcastle referee a few seasons ago that was let go? He left early.
Didn't he go to the Saudi League or like?
Yeah, he just went to America and then he was showing a lot of stuff. Plattenberg, yeah. So he was like, go away. He wasn't part of the little, as they say, inlet of the group of the lads. So he was kind of like ushered out as well. So he's alluded. Well, Mike Dean has alluded to the fact that he mentioned the word mate and stuff like that last week. But he kind of let the cat slip out of the bag that they're protecting each other. I get it; they work together and they do whatever, but they're protecting each other's. That's the one I was on about. So the Nat Phillips Spiders caps are back. All right, there you go. Done. And you have to be at the show yesterday to see that. We need you. Manuel, what is he? And but look, they show that there's a buddy system going on there, and it shows that he admitted that the referees do not want to be proven wrong, so they're reluctant to go to the monitors. And for me, like that's a nail in the coffin statement for me. They're saying it so casually, like it means nothing, but they're literally ignoring fouls and wrongdoings and stuff like that just to protect each other. And that for me is as bad as a doctor covering up a mistake in an operation. You know, you're there to do the job, which is to ref the game, not own it, not control it. You know, it's just, I don't know. What's that?
In terms of Lukaku going to Roma, he's a big lad, Lukaku, isn't
he? But look, yeah, for me, I think the PGMOL is going to be under fair scrutiny over the next few weeks, big time. I'm talking that you could see by certain points of the season. I didn't think we always give out about referees. Excuse me. We always give out about referees. We always give out about things to do with how referees act on the pitch, how they act off the pitch. You know, the decision making, things like that. But it's coming down to the rule sets that they're creating just to suit themselves to make games easier. You know, it's going to come down to where you see FSG out signs and all like that. It's going to come down to PGMOL out, gone. It's going to trend. It's going to become massive, and people are going to want the Referees Association's head. They're going to want Webb will fall in for that. These new rules are ridiculous.
I was thinking there, sorry, I'm just scrolling through Twitter.
Okay.
At this moment, chat saying something's happened with Salah at the minute. I need to find if it's true or whatnot anyway. But the thing with that, mate, and shall let us know, like what Kev's alluded to with the PGMLO or the Rubbish Refs Association. It's the thing is, everyone looks at Jurgen and everyone looks at like top coaches in the league. Christ, when you take into consideration, when you analyse, when Newcastle fans speak about Jurgen, they absolutely despise him, and that's why I celebrated like mad yesterday, because I know what they're like. There's a lot of very lovely Newcastle fans out there, but there is a growing majority of them that absolutely just like they're trying to create a rivalry with.
I seen the thing with True Geordie thing. Seen him. He did a video about we need to talk about Jurgen Klopp ages ago, praising him and stuff like that. But then yesterday in his video before Newcastle before they 1-0 up and they were doing it, I was watching the video and he said that he absolutely despises Jurgen Klopp now because of the way he's talked and his antics over the last few years and whatever. And I was just like, we've changed your tune a small bit, you know. So it's coming down to I get it to other people. Klopp seems. Because they don't seem as often as we do. They don't watch as much videos, or they could be obsessed and watch too much videos of us. But they don't watch all these interviews. You don't see it. All they see is these after interviews, and they see what's edited on the screen, and that's it. And they don't realize like the points that he's alluding to sometimes. Yeah, he said a couple of one or two ridiculous things in the time, but that doesn't allude to him being hated by anybody. He's a fantastic manager. He's rivaled Pep for the last few years as being the best manager in the league. And he's beat him to the punch a couple of times of winning the manager of the league award. So, as that dude said a few years ago, put some respect in Jurgen Klopp's name. Staff, just because you're a rival fan, you don't like it. He does a good job for Liverpool. He gets Liverpool, and we don't care if they don't like him or not, because he does right by us, and that's it.
It's every elite manager as well, though, mate. Like, even when Newcastle get up to winning league titles again, which they used to a very long time ago, and start where winning and competing for the top levels, I think they need to understand, and top teams, even the likes of when Brighton, if Brighton do continue to put my bloody phone on there, because only group chat's going on, I probably will miss something, so chat, let me know if something pops up. Something might have popped up because my phone's bloody on fire at the minute. But in terms of when you eventually do go past Ittihad, when you get a much better manager, the excuses will come out. Every elite manager and comes out. Look at Fergie, was the master of it. Pep as well. Ancelotti even. Jose, probably the master of excuses, but it's all about shielding your players and defending your football club as well. This is why I think me, you, majority of us all love Jurgen Klopp as well. He will die for us on that touchline. Doesn't matter. Well, it's not like Liverpool are everyone's favourite team in the Premier League. We all know everyone hates us. Guys, go on media. I've studied media for the last 10 years anyway. Just go and do your research and everything about it. They all want to be us. They all want to be Liverpool Football Club as a football club and as a city as well. It's us against them as a football club as well and as a city. And it annoys them the way we are as a city, the way we are as a football club, because we've got something special going on. So
very hard to buy that.
Yeah, I love it, mate. And
I get it. City's been trying to make this fake rivalry with Liverpool for years, and it's never happened between the fans because we just don't care. And when they win everything, nobody really cares, and that's the difference. The passion goes out of the game when they're winning it. I think even when Chelsea, at least with Chelsea in some way, they had a character in Mourinho and stuff like that, and they had certain players that would make you kind of hate them in the way they went on. But there's nothing about Manchester City seems just like a machine with just oiled parts and no personality. So, so that's that. I don't know if that's the best way to explain it, lads, but that's what it feels like to me, that they're an oiled machine with all really good working parts and no personality behind it. It seems like it's a lot of
and the thing where City do lack, and for the main road City fans, ones that were in League One, League Two, or whatnot, and like with 30 odd thousands, they are the proper City fans. That went home and away when they were down there in divisions, and even now to where they are. But what Newcastle have got is what City haven't got currently, and that is the fan base as Newcastle. And this is why, as I said, with every fan base, even Liverpool's fan base as well, there is sections, and everything is very much amplified to twofold, in all honesty, when you try and don't always analyse something on social media, because it's completely different. Because like when you go to all the match day going Reds, or just normal people that go to the pub, and you can have a sensible debate like bloody hell 10 years ago before Twitter was, you'd sit there with your mate or with a fella in the pub and you'd debate it and hash it out, and you'd spend an hour, 2 hours after the game not arguing but having a civil debate. But now with just Twitter, you comment, or you leave a comment, or you try and rationalise something on social media, and then it just someone goes, "Oh, you just wrote
loser pool."
Yeah, it's like
that's the only reaction I can give it. That's going to simplify everything you're trying to say. You just say something completely cohesive, completely normal, and completely making sense, and then somebody will just come in and go, "Shut, loser pool." Clippity clap, clippity clap, and that's what they're going to get. And that's the mindset of
It's like when you try and have an intellectual, not a clever debate, but just try and have a sensible, rational
normal
debate. And then someone just goes wang wallop, bish bash, like
and that's
whatever.
just him typing on his keyboard like that.
Like, and then it just brings the level of the conversation like on the floor, and you're like, is this what we're currently doing as football fans now? Like, this is why you are seeing Sky Sports News getting TikTok content creators speaking of our football. Like I'd hate it if it was me going on Sky. Like, I like football, but you don't get me or you don't get TikTokers on to speak about like football. You get the pundits and you get the people that have played the game for the last 20, 30 years or managed at the highest level. That's why I think Sky have massively come away from what they used to do so well. This is why Monday Night Football is extremely well watched as a channel or as a sports program. And even the great content that does get produced there at such a high level on YouTube as well. Sod me going on Sky. I wouldn't really want to. Like, if they did one day, then sound. But get
If
me
you
on.
don't mind those early morning shows where they're chatting around the table and doing all that kind of thing. But if you're going on a proper thing like Sky Sports News, or you're going on a proper, thing, you'd expect a legend or some sort of, somebody who's played the game and been in the game. No, I can kind of say but I was never at that level. But I got there. I got to some point at that level anyway. So I have a little bit of knowledge, but I could go onto these things, these fan channel shows, and give my opinion, no problem. As a fan,
as well.
So no problem. But it's why bring somebody on as an expert in football if they're just somebody that's because he
content. So
and about from Google.
Yeah,
that proves the point. I've got I must have about 10 people on my friends list, man, on Facebook, and they're coming in with, my sources telling me that we're signing this person, that person. I'm like, dude, you live in the middle of nowhere, in a village, and nobody.
Have you got contacts with Michael Edwards? Have you, mate? Then go ahead, son.
How the hell have you got sources? No, do you mean sauces? You're definitely on the money side. I'm just like, what are you on about, like? And when I seen this something, it just doesn't mean nothing, man. I try, and you try to be nice because they're just living in a fantasy bubble. So stop pretending you're a journalist, man. Guys,
loved your reaction to Nunes winning the goal yesterday for Jack La. Big up there, Doug. Massive thank you for jumping on the show yesterday, mate. Hope you enjoyed it. What a huge result that was. Never write off Liverpool, and that just goes what we've just been saying there, mate. Like, obviously, we'll make fans. We'll critique a player, we'll debate a player, we'll hopefully look to and analyze where they can improve. Certain players can't improve, do need moving on as well, and we'll discuss that as well. But what Liverpool Football Club and as a city stands for as well is getting behind the player and getting behind them even more. Hence why Darwin Núñez, we know he struggled last season, even though he scored loads of goals. For me, he didn't struggle. I think it was interesting coming to a new system as well, as we discussed with Kev and all the lads on news last year. But if we see someone struggling, then we get behind them even more, and then we go and go and go and go again.
Because him playing out the wing is gone now, Jack. For me, that's gone through the middle, and he's lethal. Just stick him up there. Let him be chaos. That's what I say. Let Darwin roar. Just let him be chaos and just let him do his thing. Leave everybody else in their position. Just let Darwin just run around everywhere up the front, and he'll cause absolute chaos. You'll see more goals for Salah. You'll see more goals for, Diaz and co easily.
Yeah, big up there, team. As I said, welcome to all the new people that have discovered the channel. It's hopefully going to have a good season this year, mate. As I said, we'll just chill, relax one lad anyway, so nothing too major. We'll have especially me, I'll have me wins through the season, but
we all hoping Darwin starts the next game, man. That's what I want to see. Yeah. I can't come back on that.
Yeah, Paul, I think it's very much amplified when I'm wearing a yellow, 80 shirt or 70 shirt? Yeah, it's
1984.
1984, yeah. Nice. What a year for the Reds that was, anyway. I'll tell you that now. Did you have this when you were younger, Kev?
I had one of those when I was a kid. Yeah, so I wouldn't fit in it now, though.
I
have one of those now, but I wouldn't fit in that show, obviously. I have one. We knew we were wearing this. We knew we were wearing that exact same top going back a few weeks ago on the show, weren't we? I just popped down the stairs. The two of us wearing the same jersey.
It's all right. It's all right. We've done it yesterday. And then people go, "Oh, you give it FSG money because you're buying the shirt, lad." It's like, oh, it's this notion of like you can't give FSG money because it's there to stop like everything. Like it's like, mate, like the 80 quid
All right,
doesn't
so
matter. Like the 80
let's not give him money, so and then not leave him buy even average players for the club, and then we'll just end up in the championship, and then you can give out when they leave afterwards.
Yeah,
It makes
and
no
then
sense.
and then our levels would be on the floor with Everton in that case anyway, especially from a financial sense. A share season ticket, Nigel. I do go to about 5, hoping with me good mate Sean. We hoping to aim for about. I go to about 5, 6, 7, 8 games throughout the season, depending on the European competitions as well. So yeah, I do try my best. Obviously, if you go back on my channel, Nigel, there's quite a lot of matchday vlogs as well. I do enjoy them, but when I go to the game, I used to like vlog the games, like in terms of, but now I do a beginning, halftime analysis, and then after the game, I used to film it, but I come to realization that I bloody hated myself doing it because I just want to go to the game, like the majority of everyone, even when you're watching the game as well. Everyone's different. Just enjoy the game. You're there. There's nothing better, and especially when you support Liverpool, it's like a bloody golden ticket. Willy Wonka's Klopp's Chocolate Factory. When you try and get a ticket for the game, I know so many people can't. So anyone ever goes, just get involved as well. And it does my head in, Joe, when you got people going the game for the first time and you've got people around them. Like, even if you don't know the words, just give it a go. Like, and I always say, just enjoy yourself when you go to the game as well, because especially when in and around, and especially the pubs around Anfield as well, though, Kev, you obviously being someone that's from outside the city, Liverpool is one of the most friendliest places, especially in the UK, in Europe as well. Even when we got the capital culture at that time, it's if you're asked for any directions for anyone from Liverpool or even someone outside coming in and that lives in Liverpool, they'll go twofold and they'll break their back.
He actually got capital culture the year after we got it there in Cork.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
so moved from Cork to Liverpool, just shows it's the same milk. So no, like dude, I've been Liverpool fan since 1985. My dad put me on the list with him around then. At the same time, he never kept it up though, because once it changed, where people from outside the L4 postcode couldn't really get a season ticket. Like I was right there, like within a couple of years of being able to get it after being on it since 85. There was like a 12-year wait at that stage that went up to 15 years. And then as it was coming up to my time to get one, we got knocked back. I didn't mind it, like, because I always say, like, people that are local should get the tickets. My only problem was that I was knocked back at people who were touting. And, you know, at the time when, you know, Liverpool weren't at their strongest or their best, and not everybody was crying out for season tickets. The house had a whole of a lot of them, and you know, you had 104-year-old people that were still going to the game. So people like me were missing out on that, because you know, these people were writing fake letters in to say, like, you know, that only they should get the tickets. So, and that kind of happened, you know, that kicked me in the nuts a bit. But this year, as I said, I've just bought 3 hospitality season tickets for the next 7 years. I'm delighted to do so. It's the only way that somebody like me can get to see a game. So I understand. You see a lot of people that say, "Oh, is that your local team?" Whatever, blah blah blah. And I'm like, no, but I spend more than anybody else would to go to a game. You know, at least you've got the pleasure of being able to walk up the road and go through the turnstile, and it costs you the price of your ticket and maybe a cab home and a couple of pints. Whereas before I even leave my house, I've spent 400 quid on flights. I've spent, you know, another 300 quid on hotels, and you know, I'm probably €150 a ticket. So, and you know, it just goes to show you what
Liverpool means to you
to
and
everybody.
Yeah, and don't and anyone watching now, if you're outside Liverpool, never buy into this notion, especially when you're on social media. Like Liverpool people love everyone, and
they do.
Course, you get the odd sausage. Even me, I'm a big sausage.
I've never seen it when I went to Liverpool once.
Yeah,
you know, because to me, Liverpool people are Irish. You know, I mean, it's the reason why they don't support England. I think, you know, their mindset has always been like the Irish people or the Irish and mixed with Norwegian, the Scottish people of England, and that's why they're so, like, where I come from in Cork, we're known as the Rebel County, and even though we're all Irish here, we're kind of slightly different from everybody else down here in our own way. We like to do our own thing, but you know, it kind of reminds me of that a bit, you know, and anybody who's from Ireland will probably tell you something similar. Like, I would say that Dublin is more like London to me than Liverpool. like 100%. Whereas I would say Cork is probably Cork and places like Kerry or something. It's more like Liverpool than that. Well,
Yeah,
Kerry's a bit more Ipswich or Norwich. I say actually when I think of it, they're more Norwich. I think so that and all that, like So yeah, they're a bit more like that. Yeah.
Yeah, so as Paul said, Spider, it's Liverpool, as he knows. There's
It
so
is,
many Irish
yeah.
bars. If you're ever coming down,
Yeah.
there's a lot of Irish bars as well that you will definitely enjoy.
Man.
As Dean said there, yeah, sure. Share the season ticket with my lads is now 15. Unfortunately, now
I got the he's going to want the games.
Dean, man, you're finished, mate. You are.
Oh no.
Like,
it's not my camera's gone. Don't worry, I'll fix it there. Yeah, it's over. I think it's because of my controller on my PC. It's been going off lately. I have too many devices going into the one PC. I'll just plug it in now.
Yeah, no worries. Big up there, and apparently Saudis are on. I'm saying that the Saudis, the next 72 hours are crucial with Salah as well. So we'll get straight into the big juicy news that we've seen over the last couple of days. But obviously, very well respected journalist James Benji, hopefully you pronounced that right, mate. Apologies. On his Twitter, works for CBS Sport, done an article over the last 24 hours. Al Ittihad prepared to offer £150 million package for Mohamed Salah. Liverpool, who want to sell, would get €100 million guaranteed. Not all of the add-ons would necessarily be easily achievable. Salah would receive a salary package comparable with the likes of Neymar and Cristiano Ronaldo as well. And he goes on to state in the article as well, the link for that article is in the link, just drop down below as well. So if you want to have a little nighttime reading this evening, go and check it out. Great article. It goes on to state, Al Ittihad are ready to test Liverpool's insistence that Mohamed Salah is not for sale this summer. With a package worth €150 million, $163 million for the 31-year-old, according to CBS Sports sources. The Saudi Pro League holders have made the Egyptian their highest priority target between now and the end of their transfer window on September the 20th, and are prepared to sanction a deal that would greatly eclipse their country's record transfer, the 97 million Al Hilal paid for Neymar earlier this month as well. Sources indicate that the deal would be made up of around 108 million in guaranteed payments to Liverpool, with a further 54 million in performance-related bonuses, not all of which would be easily achievable. Red stance throughout the summer has been emphatic. However, they do not intend to sell Salah, who would deliver a timely reminder as his enduring brilliance with the assist for Darwin Núñez as match winner on Sunday in their 2-1 win over Newcastle. The brilliant assist that he did get as well. Kev, are you still here?
I'm back.
Oh, there we go.
I'm back. I was pressing the wrong one the whole time, and I don't know why.
Yeah, were you listening?
I was listening to everything. Yeah.
So chat, let us know your thoughts on that. Obviously, on obviously the article that James has stated here. It's there's so much to come at this story, really, mate. It would, as I said, top of the show. It could be history making in terms of the next 5-year period for Liverpool. If he stays, if he goes. How important he's been, Kev, is probably very much understated, really. Not by us, but in terms of people outside of Liverpool when he analysed it. It's still remarkable that people still don't rate Salah. I don't know what else he needs to prove for Liverpool, or especially on the European stage. I would like Salah to retire at Liverpool, but we've got to take into account his age and the years left on his contract as well. We need to be extremely intelligent in terms of our negotiations and our understanding, because what was it, a couple of months ago, we had Salah extremely close to coming to his end of his contract at Liverpool and leaving the club on a free transfer. From a business sense, Kev, that would have been absolutely catastrophic. We cannot allow that to happen again in the next 2 years.
Which is no, which part? Which
Eh,
which would we love?
in terms of like the letting him go in relation to Salah in
No.
the next 2 years.
Oh yeah, no. I like.
Or
If it,
now or then, really, for me.
okay, so if we had to let him go and there was nothing lined up, no. If we were to let him go now and they said 200 plus million, I would say okay. If we can get in 2 or 3 players plus the money we've available at the same time in a window, it's just too short. But then I'm looking and it's the 28th of August. The window shuts in 3 days, and you don't want to be left with Salah here and then the window's still open in Saudi League, and then Salah decides, yeah, I kind of do want to go. And it would spoil his legacy at Liverpool for me. He's a fantastic player, but that would destroy everything that he's done at Liverpool at the moment.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't. I know it's important for him to do so. If he was to say it's time up to go out, but he would like Harry Kane leaving Spurs has just been a blip. He's gone to Bayern Munich. Nobody's really raging. They were expecting a few years, whatever like that. Salah to leave Liverpool now after just committing to a longer term deal, and for that small of value price, I don't care how old Salah is. Salah is a machine.
There's no Salahs on the market currently.
There's no Salah. There's nobody there. There is nobody to replace him. He's irreplaceable as it is as a stand. Now, apparently his bad season last season was him still scoring 20 to 30 goals or whatever, So if that's the level of Salah is at and it's a bad season for him, so be it. I will take 3 more bad seasons of Salah, no problem.
Getting 19 30, 20,
yeah, 19 assists, and 20 odd goals or whatever like that. I will take that for the next 3 seasons. Absolutely no problem. And that was it. But look, if he was leaving over 200 million plus, that'd be the value. You'd buy him out 100 million a year for his contract left.
Kevin, chat, get your value. Say, chat, if you say Liverpool, where hypothetically, then are we selling Salah in the next, whether that be in the next 12 months or next couple of days, guys. What would you put it on, chat? What would be the selling point that you'd hope Liverpool would put it in pounds if you can as well?
If Philip Coutinho goes to Barcelona for 142 million, right, and he'd won not too much at Liverpool at that stage, a couple of League Cups, whatever it was, and how does Salah, after winning everything at Liverpool and still being the first name picked on the team sheet each week, does he go for 129 million pounds because he's 30, 31? No, he does not. I get it up here for the potential, but you're also buying a dude out of his contract. I'm just saying that how dare the world charge Liverpool over the odds for everything else and then expect Liverpool to hand Mohamed Salah over for change?
We should not be penny pinching as a football. I know we're doing, as we joked about tonight, as a club in terms of FSG. That's a whole another show for another night. But we've done certainly plenty of them. But
do you think Neymar is worth more than Salah?
No.
Mbappe is, just for what he's done, but I don't think he's done enough.
The only 2 players currently in terms of market value for me that are more expensive than Salah at this moment in time are Haaland. And in terms of attackers, we're talking about is Haaland and Mbappe, really. I'd say.
What about Jude?
Well, I think Jude's gone for cheap in terms of 100 million.
Cheap,
he's 100. Yeah. Real got 150 million pounds for 100
But
million.
I'd agree. I think Salah's more than Jude. But Jude's going to have potential. He's going to have longevity over time. But he's not going to get you the amount of goals that Salah gets you. He's not going to get you the amount of wins that Salah gets you. He's going to be brilliant in the midfield. And I know there's different valuations put on different parts of the pitch, but we all know that strikers and wingers that score and all of that are the highest market value players on the planet. And if you've got the best one in the world that can do what he does, remember, Salah's not a striker. Oh. He's a winger. And, if you're trying to compare him to Haaland, you're comparing him to the wrong player. You need to compare Salah to everybody else that's on the market. You compare Salah to Saka. You compare Salah to, you compare him to Neymar. You compare him to the other people you compare him to, and that's where you get your valuation for. So
it's
even for me,
not even a footballing sense as well, though. Kevin, I want to get your thoughts on this as well as chats. I get to Dean's comments and a couple of the comments as well in the second chat as well. It's what it does for the league as well. If you're a Saudi PR people that run the league in terms of promoting the league, it's one thing bringing Ronaldo, and I get Ronaldo's on a whole nother universe to Salah, But in terms of Salah, obviously his upbringing, what he is, obviously Muslim as well. Like he is everything. He is probably the biggest high profile player
Yeah.
at this moment in time. I know Benzema as well. He's massive. He's massive in terms of when he's coming to the league. That was a big statement, but I think that's a level above bringing in Salah. He is the poster boy for the Middle East football as well.
Oh, he is, yeah, because I think Benzema is more of a European.
Yeah,
he's French. He's more of a European. Whereas I know like Salah is Middle East. He's Egyptian. You know, he's from that area. He's, you know, and knows that and is part of that world for years and years. But yeah, you know, look, massive. I don't think Salah would want to leave without.
I want him
to win the
to
Premier League one more time at least, or get like I would. If he said that he was happy to stay, no problem, at the fact that we were going to the Europa League and we were doing that, and he wants to win the Champions League with Liverpool again. If that's for me, he wants to stay for another 2 years.
I want him to retire at Liverpool, mate. I know it's probably a bit mad, but let's not forget, the one thing I want from Salah, even though he's give everything for this football club, and if he was to say tomorrow, I want to go to Saudi, no Liverpool fan will begrudge him for what he's done for this football club. He deserves a massive payday, and he could help so many people from his hometown in Egypt and do so much with that money as well.
He can do that when he's 36 and still go to Saudi Arabia and still make all that money easily.
But I think the difference between Salah as well, and we've seen that since he's come into Liverpool, he's been there at Chelsea. He's been at a club that massively undervalued him. But I think he knows. He's very aware. He's very social media aware as well. His agent, Rami Abbas, has been absolutely spot on in the last couple of years. Every single time these rumours have surfaced, and it wouldn't surprise me if his agent tweeted this evening and dismissed him again. So Rami, if you're watching, mate, put another tweet out there. Put these rumours to bed. Like, I don't know what it's going to have to take, but I want him to beat Rushy's record. I know it's probably physically impossible because Rushy was the legend that he is. But I think if Salah stayed fit for the next 4 or 5 years and continued, as you said there, Kev, getting 20, 30 goals.
Yeah, he beats her.
I think he potentially could beat that, but he needs to be extremely lucky with not getting injuries. But
how many Premier League goals does Salah at the moment?
I think he's like 80. Chat, how many goals does Salah off in terms of overall? Like, I think when I was looking, I think when I looked at it, it'd need, was it 3-4? It'd need like 4 or 5 seasons.
140.
So what's that divided by 4 or 5 seasons?
I mean
30 goals every
5. 25. 30 goals a season pretty much. Minimum 4 seasons. 27 goals minimum a season. So now 26.5 goals a season.
That's doable. That's doable if he stays fit as well. Big up there, chat. Let us know. Get your thoughts in on Salah. It would be criminal to sell him at this short notice, as Dean said. We've got to do everything to keep him. He is so important. Just let him run his contract down. He deserves that at least for all he has done. Very much so there, Dean. I love Mo. Like, he is. Everyone talks about, of course, rightly so, Jurgen Klopp coming in and changing the whole Liverpool Football Club landscape for where we did find ourselves for a good part of 30 years, especially in Premier League terms. He galvanised it, but as we know with Mohamed Salah, he is scoring the Champions League final. He's been so instrumental to everything under Jurgen Klopp, alongside the likes of Mane, Firmino as well. Those have moved on, but I think I just love Mo. I know we all know he loves the city, but he is going to be I think for the lads that did grow up in the 70s and 80s, he's Arnold. I'm not saying that, but I've been told stories from my dad and me relatives as well, and you grow up in these stories. I'm going to be telling my kids and grandkids and all that, and about hopefully Mohamed Salah. How good was he? He was phenomenal. He was the Egyptian. He was my king in my lifetime as well. Obviously, King Kenny. We've had our King Mo, and then
there's one of each. I mean, God was after that with Fowler. You know, that's a different generation as well. That's my youth generation as well. You know, Kenny was finishing and Robbie was taking over. You know, as God in that stage, and you would rush in between. There was just rush, And these were just like gods amongst men when it came to goal scorers. But we didn't see really much in that kind of genre of goal scorer. We've seen it really. We've seen Luis Suarez come in, he did really well. Fernando Torres come in, do really well. Michael Owen did well. I mean, he's 10th in all-time Premier League goal scorers or something like that. Like Salah scores 10 more goals, he beats Michael Owen's record in the Premier League. So you're talking that's an out-and-out striker who won the Ballon d'Or, for Christ's sake. So and Salah can beat that record this season. If he stays in the Premier League, he's 120 off of Alan Shearer's goals. And if you think of that season, that would take 5 seasons to 20 goals a season. You knock that up to 25 to 26 with the average 20. He can get close to that. So, there's a lot of time left in more. There's a lot of records to be broken for him, and there's still a lot of trophies to be won. And in Liverpool, he can win it all. He can win every possible trophy this season if he stays at Liverpool and we win the Europa League. But he's up to with those names, and he is now hired. We know this. He's like, we always thought about Suarez as a legend. We always thought about Torres as a legend. The way both of them left didn't left a bitter taste in the mouth. But Salah has the opportunity here, to not do that. He's the opportunity to do a Gerrard, which is do a U-turn on his own mindset.
Mo, we've already got Euros outside the ground, but if Mo, and I'm pretty sure for the next 100 years, there will be songs very rightly sung about Salah in our history books as well. In the next 100 years, there'll be obviously the great Stevie Highways on the wing. We have songs to sing and everything. It's etched in Anfield folklore, like the legendary songs, Kenny Dalglish, and we all know the names. And Salah would be on that. But I look at it, Kev, and it's spot on there, mate, as well, chat. I look at it as when you look at Salah. The one question mark when people have discussed Salah, when I look at it as well, Kev, is, and chat, when you look at Salah, everyone goes, if he stays for another 2 years, when the situation does come in the next 2 years, everyone's going, Liverpool won't give Salah another 50, 100k a week. But it's where, and you understand that, but I don't think Salah, if he wants more money than sound, he will go to Saudi in the next 2 years at the end of his contract. But he probably would be under the understanding his place in the team at that moment in time, in 2 years' time. But what you will give Salah is probably a bit more incentives, bit more money in terms of incentives, in terms of bonuses or certain situations around the club. But I look at it, Kev, as in 2 years' time, he will, of course, be 2 more years more wiser. If he's fully fit, hopefully he's still playing to his full capacity. If he is, then sound. We'll find where he is in 2 years. But if I was Salah, I'd be excited. Not in terms of the defensive side of Liverpool's game, but in terms of this new phase, this new Liverpool team that is going to be awakening this season and a couple of years' time as well. He can be the Mr. Miyagi of Liverpool's football team. He can be that wise head that Steven Gerrard was at the back end of his career. Obviously, he moved to the MLS, but that was, don't get me started, that's a whole nother show. He should have retired at Liverpool, not gone to the MLS. But that's one reason why I absolutely despise Brendan Rodgers. So what do you think he'll do in the end, Kev? Salah at the end of it in the next 2 years? Do you anticipate what you're thinking around that? What I've just said there. How do you think Salah would analyze it with his agent when he got to it, like the next 2 years?
He's on rolling 3-year contracts, right? So it was his last bumper deal, just a 3-year add-on to the current deal or something like that.
2-year add-on, yeah. I think
it was a 3 year. So he was on 3 years. That was a year previous. So it means that after the season, he'd be coming up to a final year, right? So if I was Liverpool, I would tell him stay this year. I would offer him a new deal at the end of next year. I would tell him stay to the end of that year by adding on the extra 2 years and then make the money off of him at 34 or something like that. To go to the Saudi League. Liverpool can make back a cool 60-70 million off him easily at that time, and they'll even tell him that they'll put a release clause into his contract. I know Liverpool don't do that, but to kind of, to appease Mo Salah and to appease Liverpool getting the money for him and getting the clause triggered, maybe they can do that. But that's the hope that I would have. I would like to see Salah in for at least 3 more seasons. I would love to see him in for 3 more seasons. That gives us a basis of getting through Europa League, back into the Champions League for next season, either straight competing for that like we did in 2019 and 2020, and then moving on and doing it, but going for the league at the same time. Look, the importance is to get the league. The Europa League it would be a good thing to get this season, maybe another cup competition, but the main thing would be the Europa League can be done with. In my opinion, I don't want to be cocky about it like that, but I think that the second string squad of Liverpool is good enough to get through the majority of the Europa League. For me, just until the teams start dropping down from the Champions League, and then you start playing more serious games. That's what I would think regards that, and I'm thinking it gives us a better opportunity to go for the league, and to really push on if we can just get the team right. And compared to yesterday, if it's anything like yesterday for the rest of the season, I will take that all season. Give me that roller coaster and give me those wins and those 3 points every single time.
Yeah, big up there, mate. Yeah, as well. Big up there, chat. Get your comments in. And I think you're looking at a player that Salah is currently still. Harry Kane's done absolutely demolish the Bundesliga, and I'll tell you that now. He will be getting 30, 40 goals like Lewandowski.
Easily. It's an easy league.
It's 100%. But let's get to everyone's comments as well. Apologies if I've missed a couple, not intentional. Being funny, but there's no way FSG, in terms of Panov, FSG give a new contract on 330 KLB, and don't think you were willing to take a pay cut. I don't want to lose him either. But as I said there, Panov, there will be other realms and other areas of the football club that FSG could give him a little small percentage in the football club. Like, that's how you deal with big profile footballers. And if it was like a certain percentage in Liverpool, whether that be like a 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5%, he's very much warranted that as well. And long term, you look at what LeBron James has done at Liverpool, he's already made a profit. And it's certainly something.
Give him the 5%, Jack, right? Leave him stay the next 3 years, sell him to the Saudi League for 150 million, let him make his billion there, and then come back and buy the other 95% off. Cheers, Mo. I'd love that. Cheers. See you later, buddy.
Mo does it a PR King Kenny Dalglish becomes player manager and then wins.
Him, Endo, Gerrard, and all the lads are into consortium. And they're all out there, man, making their billions, and they just come in and buy, what you call it, And Ruben Neves said, "Oh, can I get in this case?" No, sorry, Ruben.
Ruben Neves crying his eyes out again on an interview. I'm leaving. They're kicking me out. I've lost all my dough. But yeah, big up there. Wrong club. Yeah, obviously. A couple of people were getting, I think it was a couple of lads were getting confused. Obviously, Gerrard's not their manager. He's Ittihad. I think Gerrard's Ittihad. There's a lot of Saudi clubs. Still learning the names of them. I think we all are anyway, but certainly teams that we will very much so be accustomed to a lot of these clubs in a couple of years anyway, even now. Red Sea, Salah's been ridiculous. The goal's better than Suarez for me.
Oh yeah,
longevity. He scored all types of goals. Ridiculous, Messi-esque. He's up there with Stevie and Kenny as the best to play for us. 100% there, Dean. Very much so, mate. Torres was something else, but he wasn't quite a Mohamed Salah, was he, mate?
Mohamed Salah was the best player on the planet for the previous 3 years. God, I don't care if Ronaldo was winning, Messi was winning, whatever they were doing. They were doing it in leagues that didn't matter. They were doing it at a time of their career. Messi never played in the Premier League. Never. So for me, I still rate him higher than Ronaldo as one of the best players that ever lived, especially after winning the World Cup.
We started debating the comments. Oh, Christ, we're going to get the Messi Ronaldo fanboys coming now.
But it is, for me, it is. I get it that Ronaldo's been around the block and he's played in a few leagues and stuff like that. I just think all around Messi's a better player. But in general, Ronaldo just scored wonderful goals. But at the same time, I think that Salah playing where he was at the peak of a really strong City side, at the peak of when football was really big in Europe with the amount of players that were playing, and the league being as strong as it is in the Premier League over the last few seasons. was playing at another tier level to these guys. I know Messi can still score these 40 to 50 goals a season in La Liga. If Salah goes to La Liga, he's scoring 40 or 50 goals as well. I guarantee you. Like, no problem. That's just the way you'll see it. Harry Kane will manage 20-odd goals here a season in the Premier League. As you said, he's going to Germany and score 30 or 40 easily. It's a different tier, man. They can't handle these type of players that have played at the highest level. And as strong as the Bundesliga, which I rated over the French league, absolutely, and the Portuguese league and all those, it's still, La Liga is probably the next level down from the Premier League, and that's the way I would rate it anyway. Yeah,
that's one thing that done my head in. And sorry to tangent chat, but I'm pretty sure you probably speak about it as well. You probably spoke to your mates about it. Messi, like, I wish he'd come to the Prem. I don't wish he would have. The two clubs he would have either went to, it would have been City when they got taken over in 2008-9, or it would have been with Manchester United or Chelsea. And lo and behold, if he would go United, they probably wouldn't have got beaten in the two Champions League finals as well. As our mate Mascherano like to hope that was for Liverpool. So it's like Masha. Well, let's get through a couple of these comments as well. And then we'll final closing point for this evening, chat. Get your we're going to be speaking about Kev's main subject, so I'll let him introduce it in a little second. Speaking about the attacking threat for Liverpool going into this season, because I know a lot of you already this evening has spoke about, obviously, Chad alluded to, obviously, and a lot of you already, would you play Núñez through the middle? I know a lot of you are saying that, so we'll get to that. But big up there, Paul. I watched Rushy. It was a beast of a goal scorer, different era. This year is definitely the King Mose, a beast of goals, goal machine. I'd love him to stay. Realistically, though, nothing lasts forever, and that's very much what Kev reminded me before we come on here. Football is sadly not forever, but that's why, as we've already discussed about tonight, and when we've all gone the game or watching it with your mates, Kev, it's all about just enjoying the moment now. Because there will come a time point in the next 5 years, if Salah retires at Liverpool, he'll probably finish his career, and we will very much reminisce. But it's about having those expectations of players coming in. We need the next Mohamed Salah. We need the next Sadio Mane coming through now and taking over what they've done, and hopefully even better to elevate Liverpool's game.
Like I would always wish Salah the best if he was moving on, Jack. But at the same time, that's when he's moving on. For me, he's not ready to move on yet.
Yeah.
For me, he still has a lot more to give Liverpool Football Club. And for me, I think that you don't go and you don't devote yourself in your prime to a league like the Saudi League. You do it in the end of your, you're coming to the end of your prime, and you do that. This is why Henderson's gone over there. This is why Sadio Mane and them has gone over there. Sadio Mane still could have played well for us, but these players have all dropped off in the last couple of seasons. Benzema's gone over there because it comes to a point in time where your body just says enough is enough, and I think even the way he's starting off to see, I just think even for there's a new role the way Klopp is playing. I know we were forced into the kind of a role because of the sending off, but Salah showed a new side of his game yesterday against Newcastle as a creator number 10 kind of role as well, like a drifting one. And if you had him, I know you've got Diaz out wide, and Diaz can drag players over to himself, and if he can turn his game into receiving the ball early, passing it inside and moving on, then he'll be his own chaos up there. But Salah and Núñez can just interchange in around each other in the middle of that box, and I think there's a new style that can be, it opened Klopp's eyes yesterday, I think, to how you could see these two guys playing around each other and not just limiting himself, because I don't think Klopp needs to find a style for Núñez. I just think he needs to give Núñez enough time within the team to find his rhythm, to adapt in his rhythm, and he hasn't. He mightn't be seeing it in last season, or you might be seeing it in training or whatever like that, but everybody else says he's a beast in what he does, and it's just finding the right thing. It looks can be deceiving, but for me, when he came on yesterday, he was fantastic. His movement was brilliant. He was making the right runs, and I know it's not the shape that Klopp likes in that position, but if you just concentrate on all the other shapes being right, his one can just be chaos in the middle, And it doesn't matter what he really does. Klopp just has to stop thinking of him like Bobby Firmino playing in that middle role. There is no more false nine. Liverpool, the king of false nine was Bobby Firmino. You're not going to find another one like him. As good as Gakpo can be, you're not going to find somebody as good and as quick on his feet as Bobby Firmino. The way he could read the ball, lay it off, backflips everywhere, just creating space for everybody around him. Those eras are gone. It's now up to Nunes to be chaos and for the lads to push up behind him and drive on. You know, in a proper 4-3-3 style, or if you want to call it a 4-1-2-1 style. You know, so there's plenty of ways that Nunes can fit into this team, but he needs to be given the starts to do so.
Yeah, 100%, miss, 100%.
So sorry for going off on a tangent. Now we're talking about Salah and the whole Saudi league, but I'm just kind of getting into Nunes a bit there. You know, I have to praise the dude, man. Legend yesterday.
Oh yeah, I love him, miss. We all do. I hope Salah doesn't go in the window as it's too late to replace him, and I think a lot of our fan base will hate him for it. No, the true Liverpool fans, Panov, we are, as me and Kevin, the majority of you tonight, we all know, like, we'd understand, we'd understand why, and even I go back to what I say with Henderson as well. I didn't begrudge him for going. I know obviously everything's surrounding it, but in terms of financial sense, you think about his next 10 generations of the Hendo family are sound, they're sorted, and everyone goes, "Oh, he was still earning like 200 grand, 150 at Liverpool." But when you compare the money Saudi have got, it's ridiculous. Like, it is astronomical in twofold, 2,000 million%. Like, it's ridiculous. It's on another stratosphere, really. So if Mo wants to go and get the bag, let him go and get the bag because he fully deserves it. But as Kev said, he's still playing at elite level.
He's got too much stuff for Liverpool at the moment. Yeah.
So 100%. Hope Salah doesn't go. It will destroy us. It wouldn't for me. Panel.
It would leave a bit of taste. We'd all love him for what he did, and it would take a few years to get over it. Kind of like the Torres situation, really. I think that I think Torres is appreciated a little bit more than what Suarez is now at the club, because he left at a time where he was given promises, this and that, and he was let down by the club, really. Gerrard didn't fault him for leaving at the time. He was gutted that he left, but he didn't fault him for leaving. Suarez kind of went and then pretty much forgot about Liverpool. Most people come back and they talk about Liverpool, or they get involved with Liverpool, or they feel that Liverpool's their home. Look at Luis Garcia, all of these kind of players. You don't really see that from Suarez since he left. For Christ, the minute he scored a goal against Liverpool, he was celebrating like he never played for the club. So that for me was just showing that I get it. He's a born winner in his mindset, Suarez, and we loved him at the club doing that, and we'd appreciate everything he's done. But for me, more Salah, poops on all of them, really, when it comes down to how much of a legend he is. And I appreciate the Torres came in at the wrong time. If he'd just waited those extra few months, he would have been playing next to Suarez, and we wouldn't have had Andy Carroll in there.
Oh,
the extra few weeks.
If Torres didn't have those hamstring injuries and he stayed at the club for good, as you said there, mate. Could you imagine? We had it, chat, if you remember, we had it in a pre-season friendly game, or we had it in charity match. We had Torres and Suarez up front. I went to that game and was like, oh my. That is it. That is like proper fantasy football. It's like, I know it was a charity game or whatnot, whether that game, that was like, but it was like, what could have been? It was like if you're a fan of Marvel, the What If series, like, what could have been? But we can wax lyrical and we can do about that.
It's too late. You see, the thing is, if this is done early in the summer and we say good luck to Mo and we were able to replace him and do whatever, then I don't think people would begrudge so much. But the fact that this is happening now, and there's been an inclination about it all summer. I mean, Salah's been seen to meet with some of these people in the past in Paris and meet with all of these kind of guys in meetings. I know they said there was nothing to it, but I mean, if it still leads to one of these offers coming in at this stage, so late in the window for Liverpool not to be able to do anything about it, I think a lot of Liverpool fans will be pissed off with Mo for accepting and not telling them to wait a few months to not leave the club up in the air. So I actually would be one of those to say it would upset me a bit. Yeah, so
it's a massive game, as Chat's already alluded to there, Kevin. It is a massive game of poker. It is, and we all know that bid will come in if it is rumoured, as we just mentioned with James's article before, CBS Sports, and like it probably will come in after the window slam shut in England, and I know for a fact it will. and then where Liverpool are going, if there's something crazy comes in, like say, as we mentioned, Kev's put a 200 million price tag on him. If a bid like that did come in, then I think the club have says you got to consider it. It's the long-term beneficial factor as well. We all know that's going into the back of John Henry's brand new yacht. Extra 200 million for this new yacht, but yeah, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it anyway. Hopefully it doesn't come, but funny things have happened in football. David, big up there, mate. Good to see you in the chat. Would never hate or begrudge Salah if he left after everything he's done for the club. But if he was going to leave this window, Darwin steps up and reinforces that in January. Kev's already spoke about it, but Kev won't very much.
He do Salah, Darwin can't. Darwin is very, very good, and he's going to be a brilliant thing, but he can't replace what Salah does. So and we can't rely on Doak. Doak will be an absolute bulldog. You'll see a lot more game time this season than we'd ever expect him to, and maybe that would be a good thing for him. And but he cannot create and do what Salah does. No, nobody can. There's nobody like Salah on the planet. So we want to keep Salah at his absolute peak. He's rarely ever injured. He only ever takes knocks, and that means he's still in his prime. It's when he starts getting injuries and stuff like that, and then you kind of look and say, all right, in 2-3 years, the knocks start picking up a small bit more. You would say then, oh yeah, no, come back in for that 129 million because he's still worth that. Then for me, he's the best player on the planet still. Regardless of Haaland scoring goals, Haaland's he's a ghost merchant, in my opinion. He doesn't do much for the entire game, but then bangs in a couple of goals. Whereas Salah is always integral to what happens in Liverpool's play. He's a much more rounded game than him. And one is a striker and one is not. But I'm just saying the importance of somebody in the team. If anything, I know Haaland's a really good goal scorer, but if anything, he hindered City mostly at the start of last season because he forced them to play a lot of long balls. And they weren't playing their inverted runners as they normally used to. And it kind of cost them a bit, only for, Arsenal battled it in the end. City should never even gotten anywhere near the treble for the way they started their league campaign. So, yeah.
Yeah, spot on, mate. It's Redbeard just said, yeah, the Saudis are trying to buy our best players, but just buy the
club.
Yeah, Redbeard. That's what we said, Kev. I don't know if you jumped in there, Redbeard. As Kev was saying, it was the consortium of Henderson, Salah, all the players that are
Mane, Gerrard. Just get them all together because after making billions out there, and then just come back and just say, "Hey, well, FSC, see you later. Good luck."
Yeah, John, your time is nigh, as they say. But spot on there, Redbeard. Just quickly running through these anyway. But I just quickly feature them anyway. But apologies, would read them out, but we've been going. Yeah, we'll go for another 15, 20 minutes. I know we want to speak about obviously the potential. About Salah news and Sack bang on very much so there as on the top of the wages and the commercial deals on top of players are on millions, but if they are offered more millions on top, it's very much hard to turn it down. We all know they all have their prices 100%. As Dean said, Mo is a god in the Arab world. He is idolized over there and he seems a messiah figure. There's no way over any way any Liverpoolian could begrudge him. I agree with Kev. He's still got too much to offer. 100% 13. Pick up their chat. We'll swiftly move on.
Do a pre-signing where there's a contract signed where Liverpool allow it for 2 years' time. Salah can go for like 70 million. They say there's 13 million. They'd make sure, and if he's injury or injury prone, Liverpool will agree to knock down that price. But at least Salah still has his prime years playing in the Liverpool shirt, and he still has a payday to go to at the end of it. I don't think it's all about the money for Salah. I think he's humble enough to not want as much as what he wants. I found that Sadio Mane was under far more pressure than what Mo Salah was to do what he does. Because Sadio Mane had the expectancy of his whole area behind. He was almost expected to fund his entire village or his entire town's infrastructure or water system because he got that money and he had the way they're brought up, he had to kind of do that. So he was always looking for more money. It's kind of the reason why he left. Salah was going to get a bumper deal. They weren't going to offer Mane the same because he doesn't bring in enough goals as Salah does. And you can see that there was that combativeness between Salah and Mane even in the season or so before they left. They still got on with their job, very professional. But you've seen Mane throwing a few strops at the side, and you can understand why it happened at Bayern Munich as well. He threw a few strops at the side at Liverpool going off and throwing his jersey down, and at time that Salah didn't pass to him, and everybody was going on about it, So these issues were popping up 2 years before he left, but yeah, at the end of it, like it didn't surprise me if Mane was going to leave. The last person that I would have expected leave to go there though would be the club would have been Salah. Because I just think he's just so ingrained as what and stands for what Liverpool is all about that I can't see him there. Well. His mentality alone, man. He is exactly what Klopp always wants at the club, what he needs at the club. Klopp brings in his type of player, and that's who it is. And if there's any bad eggs, they get shipped out pretty fast. Sorry, Sacco. But it's just it's just the way it is. He knows what he likes and he knows who he wants as a player and a manager. Or as a manager, and Salah knows what he wants as a player.
What he wants is an absolute DM. Winner.
Yeah, I think Salah will turn around and say I think Klopp might even use Salah as a ply to say, right, this stuff is after coming up, but we need a defensive midfielder. Can you demand one that you'll stay if there's one brought in, or if another player is brought in, and then maybe FSG will,
We've already seen Van Dijk, mate. Move on to this section of the show, the final one. Yeah. But we've already seen it, mate, and we've done plenty of shows. We spoke with chat as well. All he is at home tonight.
Yeah.
And there's still 33 of you in here, chat. So really do appreciate you all. If you're still in here and you've been here from the beginning, really do appreciate the support from you.
Nearly 2 hours, lads.
Yeah, so absolute legends. If you haven't already done so, make sure you do drop a like on the video as well. Massively helps out. Gets it out there to people that haven't already watched the episodes. Subscribe if you are new. We're live most nights anyway. I know I was on my holidays, but Kevin and the lads were live last week. So plenty of shows coming this season as well, in the coming years as well. It's time.
Live is a suspect word. I was fairly steamed for the first show.
Yeah, no,
which is great. It was good crack.
Yeah, but big up there, Justin. Forget Salah himself as an LFC fan growing up as well. Yeah, I was disappointed when he, because I did see quite a lot of him when he was at Basel. He had a really good team at that time. Yeah. Basel when he was a lot younger. Played a lot of time in Champions League as well. But yeah, you'd be surprised, Justin, by your
play with a lot of young boys.
Yeah. A lot of for young boys as well. They were a decent team.
He tied with a lot of young boys. No, that's yeah. No. The team, lads. The team. Relax.
Young boys. If Salah goes to leave the club, can't make him stay. To be honest, yeah, true. There, Bedbeard. But as I said, big up there, chat. But Kev, your second. Well.
Yeah.
No show, but you wanted to speak about this. And don't, if anyone just clicking on the video, we're not going to be playing a Todd Bowley formation. Not worry. We're not going to be playing a 4-4-5 formation. Not quite. Not that many bevies tonight. But Kev, the attacking options, as you said before we go on air, are plentiful for Liverpool and Jack going forward. Very strong, aren't we?
Yeah. Well, that's if you wanted to do a 4-1-3-2, but it's I don't know if like who you're sacrificing for that. You're sacrificing Sabas. I know that's not the formation. You're just putting the names of the forwards up there. But I mean, yeah, that looked kind of tasty when you're looking at it there, and then you just realised, oh, hang on a minute, you're losing one of McAllister or Sabas to play, or both of them for Endo to sit in there. So no thanks. Look.
So we've got no defence currently that can't defend. So
Luis Diaz has had a great start to the season. He's been fantastic. He's pretty much made that left-hand side his own. So it's going to be very hard for anybody to get in amongst there to do it. I think it's probably going to be around the time that you might see Jota and Gakpo rested after the first couple of games. I'd like to see Núñez start against Aston Villa. Especially being at home. After the showing that he just has, everybody's just going to be screaming his name every time he touches the ball. Everybody's going to be, Núñez. I don't care how simplistic his song is at the moment.
It's like a gladiatorial arena, isn't it? Proper, like,
yeah.
Who's the director of Gladiator? I should really know.
They should just do that. Icelandic Gladiator. Yes. Yes, or something, and just keep it going. That'd be class, but I'm just a chant. I get it. He's going to get a song. He'll always. Well, if
It will be
Liverpool
an
fans make
absolute.
songs, they don't make chants.
There will be a
Yeah,
banger coming out very soon. Like,
yeah, I think so. Like I've seen the new Lucho Diaz one, and it's very
oh
good.
yeah,
Yeah,
tremendous. Yeah,
that is a brilliant song, and that has to get sang. I hope.
yeah.
So that is very good. But look for me at the moment, Luis Diaz, Nunes, Salah starters for me. You're going to have McAllister and Szoboszlai in there to pump up games and stuff like that. And you'd be surprised that you're going to see probably McAllister come off for a lot more substitutions the more we get control of a game. And to bring on an extra forward in like a Gakpo or a Jota or something, because Jota will probably replace Nunez in the game. Gakpo will probably come on and replace McAllister. You might even see a Thiago come on and replace Endo in these type of games. Just if we're pushed up on a team and there's no need for a CDM. So look, unbelievable choices there up front, regardless.
So much versatility as well, though, Kev. Like when you
Yeah.
think about it as well, Chas, you look at Jota, so good in between the box, tips and natural goal finishing. Biggest thing with Jota, I think we'd all agree, is his injuries. If he can stay fit, it'd be, for me, he's probably one of the most important players in this team, in the whole Liverpool team. Nunez, as you've already alluded to there, mate, if he can start banging in, being consistent as well, getting a regular... He's our
especially
probably...
with finishes like that.
Yeah, like that is very reminiscent of a lot of strikers. Like we've mentioned Torres. I think it was on a show with Doug and the lads yesterday on
He used to be able to sneak inside the post every single time, Torres. It wasn't just a goal that just trickled in the goal. It was bang into the corner of the bottom net. Same with Suarez,
You just know with like them two, Kevin and with those Suarez, but mainly Torres. Like as a kid watching them, you just know as soon as he broke in. The thing with Suarez, he'd have to do about 5 nutmegs on opposition defenders and then bend the ball around the whole team. But with Torres,
with the outside of his foot,
it would be something stupid. But with Torres, it was similar with Nunez yesterday. Ball through the channel, right through the middle, cut in. Torres just either dink it, but Nunez, he's got the power. He's got so much to his game that excites me. Lucho Diaz is probably Kev. When I look at this and just the one player that I think he's got so much more to grow in this Liverpool team and more to show. I think if you can start adding goals to the game, it'd be a massissive asset for the team.
No, I think he'll add goals because I think he's been adding goals recently. Yeah. I think the problem is he needs to add assists to his game. He's been adding indirect assists by laying up to somebody who then assists, but he needs to start getting down to the corner. He needs to start getting towards the corner line a bit more rather than cutting inside all the time. I think if he starts bringing that into his game and confusing defenders a lot more, I think he'll have the all-round player there, because then he'll just decide which way he wants to go when he's on the ball, and that's great. That's what you want from a player like him. You'd want him to always be predictable and turn inside and try and drift across the front of the box looking for his shot moment. That's the kid in him in the game, and I get he's going to be able to do that a couple of times a game and probably score a goal doing it, but the rest of the time he's going to have to learn how to interchange, go, and then not always be the last outlet to get the ball into the box. He needs to drive and make sure that he opens up, which he's been doing recently at the start of the season. I noticed a couple of cutbacks to Jota, a couple of cutbacks towards Salah that nearly came to fruition. But for me, he just needs to add that a bit more to his game and his ability. He linked up really well with Andy Robertson at the start when he came in. I haven't seen it so much because Andy keeps making really nice runs inside him in the underlap, like he used to back in the day when Mane was there and it allowed him to do it. Lucho needs to see that a bit more, and he needs to kind of get the Milan Barras head up a bit, is what they say. So sometimes it drops down and he doesn't see the pass. Once he brings that into his game, we're laughing. We got a really all-round player, but he's not doing so badly at the moment. He's been fantastic off the left-hand side for us.
Yeah, certainly, mate. And Gakpo. I think Gakpo are taking away Salah. I mean, taking Salah out that equation, if you think about Nunez, Jota, Diaz, and Gakpo, I think speaking to a lot of Dutch connections on the channel as well. Got a lot of shout out my mate Zach. He's a Dutch PSV supporter as well. He give us the lowdown. Obviously, Kev. Obviously, when we signed Gakpo, you were like, you got a very special player. Gakpo's the most intelligent forward that Liverpool, apart from Salah, have got currently.
Yeah.
His in-game understanding, his ability to take the ball, shoot from range, get in behind. And you've alluded to it already tonight with the loss of Firmino. I'd like Kevin and chat this season, if Nunes was to go through the middle, I want to be seeing a bit more of Gakpo down that left-hand side, considering he played down that left-hand side a lot of times in his career for PSV. We know Jota can play off the left, Diaz, but I'd like to see what Gakpo could do. But it's all about getting that, as you alluded to tonight, mate, and already 2 hours in, that tactical understanding from not just whether that's a free of Jota, Nunes, Salah, or whether that's a free of Diaz, Gakpo, Salah. Like the chemistry needs to build from all of them, so they all understand, and that's why we're not seeing Nunes straight away, because he has got a different skill set to, of course, Gakpo. Jota's got a completely different set of skill set to Gakpo as well, Annie Kev. It's intriguing. Just talk
Gakpo for me, like I've said it, and but the thing is, it's kind of let me down a bit at the start of the season, because Gakpo's been playing in the position I want him to play in, which is playing on that left hand side where you normally see Thiago. But I find he likes coming from deep, but he needed to play there in a position where we didn't. This is before, I was saying this before we had McAllister, before we had Szoboszlai, and he needed to play there when we still had Fabinho there, or Endo coming in there, and he needed to play on that left hand side, because then he didn't have to defend as much. The problem is that the game against Chelsea kind of showed him up a bit where he is at his weakest, where he let Raheem Sterling and Reece James overpower Andy Robertson on that left hand side, their right hand side coming down, and Gakpo wasn't getting back enough. And it's only when that all changed in the game that we started seeing a bit more chances there, and could have actually won the game. But like Gakpo is an out-and-out left-handed side, coming in from the left-hand side player, and there's almost changes in the formation as the game goes on that could see Gakpo play almost that left-hand sided number 10 role in a way, but you'd sacrifice Luis Diaz for that. He wouldn't be out and out. You'd have Robbo running up the outside of him more than likely. And but you're right, he's an intelligent player. It's similar to Szoboszlai, guys that are over 6 foot tall, but really good footwork, not just gangly and lurchy and reachy for the ball. They're in really good control when they're on it. The amount of times that Gakpo has turned with his back to goal and turned and created an opportunity by dancing through two fellas. He's done that multiple times last season when he first joined us. Now we're coming to September now. We're in coming up pretty soon, and he'll be here quite a while now. So it's time for him to drive on and really challenge Diaz for that left hand side, or make Diaz up his game. Either way, it's good for Liverpool. It's good for to have that competition there. It is proper competition for either those two guys, or Nunes and Gakpo. You'll either have Nunes, Jota, and Gakpo competing for that one position, or you'll have Gakpo, Jota, and Diaz competing for the other position. But either way, there's going to be one win. It's only one winner, Liverpool, and that's it for me.
That's it'd be a great conundrum, really, for Liverpool as fans as well. And just a final point for me, you spot on what you said there, La. It's the defensive structure as well. Like you think, and this is probably where Liverpool's defensive game is sometimes getting put on, through under the bus. In all honesty, we, as Kev's alluded to, that defensive reassurance Bobby would give, Salah does give still. But it's that tactical understanding from those 5 forwards. Obviously, we're not going to play them all maybe if we're getting beat 2-0 with 20 minutes to go, we might lob them all on, similar like we did yesterday. But it's that Lucho coming back, Jota and Nunes, and that's probably one of the aspects of Nunes' game, and certain of those 5 forwards. Obviously, Salah's more well-adversed at understanding the system, Kev, is that tactical understanding from a sense of really tracking back when needs be, and those certain moments when to go forward and when not, and when knowing to come back as well, most importantly.
Yeah, I think I think in games, especially you could actually see something like that on the pitch. Maybe without Luis Diaz there, because he'd be taken off at that stage. But you see something similar to what's left with the other four on the pitch at a time when Liverpool are really desperate for a goal, or they're really dominant in a game and they don't need a CDM. You might see, McAllister and Endo drop out of the game, and then you might see the likes of that where Szoboszlai and Gakpo kind of drifting alongside each other behind, and Nunes, Jota, and Salah kind of just up in front of them. And that's the kind of time you might see that kind of like as a 4-1, 4-1-2-3 kind of formation that can drop back. Yeah, no, I'm not going to say top ball, but like so yeah, that's it for me, man. I just think look, Gakpo's an intelligent player. He knows his place in the team. He's coming from the Eredivisie League. He's under no certainties that he's going to be starting every game. Luis Diaz come from where he come from. He's under no certainties that he's going to be starting every game. Jota already knows the situation in the club after being here for a couple of seasons. Nunez has grown and also stepped up when we needed him yesterday to do what a striker does, and that's score goals. Yeah. And that's what was needed from him, and I'm hoping that he starts a hell of a lot more so he can really show what he's capable of. Just get him into positions where he can strike a ball across goal, and I think he's laughing that way. We all know he can head a ball. We all know he's got a great late run into a box to get on ahead. You've seen it at United a couple of times where he's been ready and willing to pounce, and score the goals. He's done it against City. He is on the cusp of being a world-class striker. He just needs to be given the play time to do so.
And I think once he takes that mantle, Kev, as well, in Reds, I think there won't be any stopping the Uruguayan. We love him. And even though those five forwards, all of them, they're so special. And I think we're extremely fortunate. I think for a very long time, even when I was a young lad, all of us, when we were all young lads as well, when our team, Liverpool, wasn't as always good.
I remember back in my day.
We were absolutely rubbish.
Young people.
So like, me and you are going to be in our care homes, Kev, in a good 30, 40 years, and we'll be going,
I'll be there 10 years before you, bud.
Oh, yeah. So like, I'll come to look after
you. Who are you?
Kev, we used to do podcasts and I'd be showing.
Do you have any whiskey?
Well, of course I have that.
Doing the whiskey.
Yeah. So like, it's like a chat. When we all go into the care homes when we're about 80, 90, hopefully we're still producing podcasts, but it'll be for our age group. But we'll still be there. We're looking after each other anyway. But I'm just laughing at chats. Panon's going, it's yours as well, though, Brian. And then Brian's went, I'm Irish. I can already hear Brian.
I know.
I can already hear Brian saying that. Man, we don't use that. But big up there, lads. Big up there, level as well. Hope you're well, matey. Massive thank you for tuning in tonight, mate. All he's have absolutely smashed it. I'm sure I haven't missed anyone's. But Doug's comments, where was it? That one. There'll be plenty of shows. And
didn't Doug share something about the news earlier about
congratulations on Rebecca passing a driver, mate. So
that as well. But I was on about the transfer news. He shared something earlier a bit about transfer news. I don't know what it was.
Yeah, that one. Sorry, there, Doug.
Yeah. Congratulations to Rebecca.
Rebecca as well. There. I did say it loud, but we were there in the thick of it in terms of talking about the Deads. Where was it? Where's Doug's comments? Have you found it, Kev? Quite simply,
no, I can say.
There we go. Quite simply, we need bodies for the midfield. 100% there, Maverick. Good to see it in here, as always, mate. And midfield and defence, beyond caring on names, would take low moves over to Corey sign. FSG need to get it done. Maverick, we'll be on it. Me, Kev, and all Liverpool fans around the world will be we'll be waiting with bated breath. More than that, we'll be waiting with the pitchforks and the banners and everything. Especially there will be 99.9% of Liverpool's fan base will all be together with the thinking of going disappointed. We all know, I'm pretty sure, as well as the team and the manager trying as much to play it down, but still internally they know, the club knows, the players know, the manager knows. we all want Liverpool to be in the best possible position going forward in the next couple of weeks, and certainly there's oh yeah, oh
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, I got it.
Sorry, that.
There you go.
There we go. So read that out, Kev. There we go.
Florian Plettenberg feeling is Liverpool could push for Ryan Gravenberch in the next days. Gravenberch is one to watch until deadline day. And getting out the yellow suit or yellow dicky boy or yellow suit or whatever it is. I'll find something.
Where's it? Don't say.
I'll find something. We'll just do a show on when is deadline day? 3 days time. When is that? It's the 31st, right?
Yeah, what day are we on now? Yeah,
20... I'm not gigging until that's Friday, isn't it?
Yeah, it would be on the Thursday night, chat. Yeah, Thursday night we will be doing. Are you free on Thursday night?
Yeah. No, I'm recording. And, I'm in the studio and y'all recording on Thursday. It's the only day I'll be able to do it. But it's but the Friday is the deadline day, and it's the 30th, 31st, and the 1st, isn't it?
No, the 31st is Tuesday. Thursday, sorry. Christ.
I'm
trying to organise a date with Kevy and it's not.
It is today. But today's Tuesday, so it'll be the 29th, 30. Is it? No, it's the 1st, Jack.
Right,
it's a Friday.
Oh, is it?
I think it's the 1st, so it's the Friday. So but I'm playing Friday night, so I can do most of the day. So yeah, I'll definitely be here on something yellow for most of the day, and we'll do a bit of a crack. Might even do a long watch along and talk about what's going on. Pop on and off, do a marathon or something. Turn it on and off, and take what people pop in notice.
It's been 24 hours until Liverpool have left down the bloody strike in our midfield.
No, look, we know, and we get all our business done early in the windows these days. It's sometimes even before the window starts. But just Van Dijk, Gakpo, pretty much McAllister only for little hiccup stuff. Yeah. But look, the surprise. Look, don't blame Klopp too much. As I said, Liverpool scouts and their team have probably planned ahead over the next year or so, year and a half, of who they wanted to bring in to replace Fabinho and back him up. Maybe Lavia was on that list straight away to come in and back up to Fabinho. But the minute Fabinho left, and Lavia was saying, all right, so I'm going to step as number one, and then Liverpool couldn't offer him that because they were going to have to Caicedo, and then both of them ended up going to Chelsea. It's a bit of a shit show on their part, but at the same time, it's at least they made the effort to try and atone for Fabinho and Henderson leaving in that regards. But stuff still should be done. And we do need another incoming in that regards. I've been saying it for ages, lads, why people haven't been. Did Youssef Fofana move that time?
Fofana at this moment in time, the Monaco DM, I don't think. Well, I think there was reports we done a show last week, didn't we? When was it Forest inquired about him, but time bloody Forest. They're inquiring for everyone.
David Hanko would be a good show to bring, as we said that guy before. All dirt cheap players, to be honest with you. You can get these guys in for dirt cheap and then still bring in Andre in the January window if we really rate him, because everybody seems to be going on about this guy. So if that's the case, we can do it. But look, there's just 3 days still left. We're good. Good, there's news out. Liverpool do start to kind of, you hear rattles around a Tuesday or Wednesday, and then deals getting done by a Friday kind of jobby a lot of the time. So we don't tend to finish off deals on a Sunday. So nobody works there. So look, heads high. If nobody comes in, we've got Endo. We back the lads right away through till January. It's not ideal.
Always know though.
Yeah, it's not ideal, and that's when I said I'd be kind of on defensive FSG out if they don't pull out the finger and actually make the effort to try and bring in somebody. If Joe Gomez leaves and this thing does happen, then definitely I think we're going to be raiding the Premier League for somebody for that homegrown stuff. So
it's the interesting point with that, Kevin, and Chas. The final point tonight is there will be some room for manoeuvre in terms of when you do look at a player's age as well. I think Ryan Gravenberch is 21, 22 years old, or might be a bit younger. Apologies, Chas. I know I've done plenty.
He's a great player, man. I don't care. Like, he was brilliant. Bayern Munich is a different kettle of fish. They like their midfielders to be more structured, whereas their forward line is more free form. So It mightn't suit him.
Yeah, I've done plenty of shows in the past, mate. He was on my list a very long time ago. If you just discover the channel, there's plenty of videos on the channel about talking about Ryan Gravenberch. We looked at him as well. But yeah, certainly. And we all know with Salah as well, chat. When you look at Salah as a player, as a young player, when he moved from Basel, going to Chelsea, didn't work out. Everyone wrote him off. Just because a player, as Kev's alluded to, has gone to Bayern, doesn't necessarily make him a bad player overnight. Certain players just don't fit certain managers' philosophy at the club at that moment in time. If Gravenberch did come in, he certainly got or another player, whoever it is, next couple of days, come in under the tutelage really of Jurgen Klopp and getting alongside Szoboszlai with Salah on the wing, with Alisson, Van Dijk when they're playing and when he's not getting sent off. When they're all playing well, then certainly it's all about getting that right blend and getting the right player at the right price and everything about that. But quickly rattle through all these as well. As Maverick said, Matip and Gomez should consider the Saudi if they pay right. Then we could rebuild. Always FSG lately wanting money before they make any purchase. Yeah, it's difficult. Maverick, we spoke about that quite heavily. We've bloody done 2 hours, 15 minutes of it, mate. So just obviously, if you're just tuning in, rewinds, watch the show. We went through quite a lot. For anyone just tuning in, Kev, we've certainly still got this auction.
Ballon d'Or.
Yeah, Ballon d'Or winning, and he moved to Liverpool. So, yeah. Kev, great show, mate.
Last offer, 120 million, lads, you can have them. Not 200 million, not 180 million, not 150 million, 120.
Yeah.
Give me a few bob, you can have them for 80.
Yeah, certainly. Anymore this window, I mean, yeah. We all get your frustration, Maverick. Me as well, mate. You've seen my shows from last week. But yeah, a massive thank you to everyone that is tuned in tonight. Massive thank you to you, Kev, as well. It's always good. And if you are watching till this late at night, 31 of you still in here. Really do appreciate everyone. Hopefully, you all have a lovely rest of your evening. If it's a bank holiday Monday, so going to work or go wherever you're up to tomorrow, go and smash your day on Tuesday. No one likes Mondays, as we all know. But go out tomorrow, whatever you're doing, have a lovely rest of your day, Kev.
And then smash your missus on Wednesday.
Oh, that's actually. Yeah, no comments. Yeah, the monetization is well off the window.
It's not monetization.
There we go. It's a joke.
It's love and respect for your wife.
Yes, especially if you're married as well. Or if you're single as well, whatever.
You suck. That's all the same.
I need to end this show before we do. But chat, Kev, you're absolutely legend. That's what we do. We try and bring a bit of enjoyment and a bit of laughter as well, and jokes about it as well. But Kev,
yeah,
hopefully there's no sock action from you tonight. Yeah, all good, all sorts.
I have a wife.
Yeah. But chat, enjoy your night. I'd say all of you behave. Look after yourselves. What's the out? The overlay's gone. But
hey,
end it on that night. Everyone just run up the stairs tonight and just start shushing everyone in the household and go, "What are you doing?" Just say I'm doing a Tyndall. And they go, "What's that?" Just don't say no. Just shush. But yes, Kev, everyone, look after yourself. Enjoy. Smash Tuesday as well. And we'll be live tomorrow again for another episode. You never walk alone. Yeah, of course. Enjoy. Kev, you bloody legends. Get out.